like I did. You're all I've got. You're all I want. You're all I've got. You're back in the day, complications never wore my patience. I was always ready to play. Why face the day in the sunshine in LA? We hit the beach and rode the waves. I lost my balance, I was faded. I was trapped and wrapped up in a scene that was never really me. Plastic lights and starry eyes, and all the freaks were left outside. So I'd look in and wonder why. Where was mine? I couldn't find it. But you're all I've got. Some days it just feels like this will never be enough. Most days it just feels like a struggle to catch up. And I won't mind the day I find what a peace of mind you are. 'Cause life is a wonderful mess. Time to walk away, trade my sunshine in for rain. Same old ways in a different place, but something's changing. I wanted answers and direction. What I got was second guessing, hesitation, no sensation, just more questions. Nothing nothing to blame for being stuck inside this frame of mind. If I can find my way, who I am, what I want, where I'm going, where I was, it's not up to you. I wish there was something you could do, but you're not me, so you can be my answers, because you're all I've got. And you're all I want. Some days it just feels like this will never be enough. Most days it just feels like I've struggled to catch up. But I won't mind the day I find what a peace of mind you are. 'Cause life is a wonderful mess. You're all I've got. You're all I want. You're all I've got. You're all I want. I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Yo, let's go. I just wanna wait my turn. I don't know the words. Thursday night. Oh, it gets better. I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Yo! Dude, I'm fucking tired. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa. Radiant, yeah, yeah. Hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. I can't pretend. No, 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 no. Oh, I hope this never ends. It's about you. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. Oh, 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 oh. All right. Dude, we have some shit to talk about today, man. Like, dude, right? Like, pretty crazy. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting about this. And I mean, we're going to get into it, you know, I'm just with a general overview. I mean, it's really crazy, guys. Okay. Because like, those of you who've been here a while know that I was not a Graham Platner fan. Okay. I was not. I didn't like the tattoo. I didn't like the prep school. There were like a lot of things that I didn't like about this guy. A lot. Okay. Very, very open about it from the beginning. Right. So I was not a Graham Platner stan by any means at all. I was suspicious of him. I was like, I don't know, very skeptical of him. And I did research on him because of all of the things that I found concerning. And it's really interesting because the more I looked at him, the more I found him to be somebody that seemed genuine and, you know, flawed, like we all are. But here's the thing. You ready? I grew up in a household with an abusive man. Okay? I did. My dad was sexually abusive to my half sisters. He was physically abusive to all of us, including my mom. I watched him grab her by the neck and slam her against the refrigerator multiple times growing up. I watched him emotionally browbeat her, gaslight her. Okay. I grew up in a house with a woman abuser. Okay. I have like
my fucking red flags go off when I am around certain people. When Eric Swalwell, when I heard the shit about him, I instantly knew, dude, something is fucking like weird with Eric Swalwell. I could tell by his arrogance, his like, I don't know, I had seen pictures of him drunk, right? The really small suit jacket. There were just a number of things about Swalwell that sort of like, when I heard the allegations, I was like, oh yeah, that guy, like, this is gonna stick. But I'm telling you, right? I'm telling you, I don't get that shit from Graham Platner. I do not, okay? Do I believe he came back from the war like fucked up with an alcohol problem? Was he in a culture of deep misogyny? And I mean, I think he was like a Republican-ish or an independent that leaned right wing. I mean, in the Marines, that's probably a coping mechanism to survive the Marines, to be like a man's man. I'm sure if you rolled back to the way I talked when I worked on a construction job site, I am sure I said some shit that if somebody tape recorded it and brought it up now, you'd be like, God damn, bro, that was like not cool, okay? Now, the thing about Platner that's weird is when I leaned into the man to explore his shit, and I didn't like the tattoo and all this shit, when I leaned in, the more I leaned in, the more it seemed like, actually, I see this guy as like a deeply flawed and traumatized vet that I think is genuinely like trying to be a better human being. Okay? You know, yes, a boyfriend with PTSD is not going to be a good boyfriend. Okay? You know, if you went and talked to my son's mom, okay, she would fucking, you know, if I run for office and the Republicans go talk to my son's mom, you would hear some shit about me, guys. Okay? I mean, I was, you know, had an alcohol problem, was deep in trauma. But I'm telling you, though, the thing about Graham Platner that I can't explain is I don't get that feeling. Okay? I don't get that feeling, guys. I don't get that, like, I don't know. It's weird. And I think the people from Maine believe in him, that he's a fighter, that he is, you know, they think he's their brawler. And I think he can actually, I think he can beat Susan Collins. And I think that's what's going on. Now, the thing that bothered me about today's article, guys, we're going to look at this article, but you know what bothered me about this article? A lack of corroboration, okay? The New York Times put an article about 3 former girlfriends of many. This guy, like, slept around a bit. 3 former girlfriends, okay, that, like, said some things. Ooh, but there was no actual physical abuse. There was no graping. There were no black eyes. There was no DV that I saw. The one who claimed there was some sort of like locked her in the room and she just went to bed. Like what, he held on the door for 10 hours? That woman is a fucking Heritage Foundation person. Okay? I do not believe her at all. The woman from the Heritage Foundation, a woman from the Project 2025 Heritage Foundation who had a group called Ladies for Kavanaugh, is the one making some claim a week before the primary. And even the New York Times said they talked to her friends and they looked in her messages and found no corroboration. Okay, she was so alarmed by that night, but she never told a friend, right? And right? And I mean, this guy told her it was a Nazi tattoo and she stayed with him. I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. Okay? I am not fucking believing it. You know? I am not believing her at all. I will not believe anyone from the Heritage Foundation ever. These are the same fucking people that say every gay person is a groomer, that are secretly authoring anti-trans legislation and are trying to enact Project 2025. So when that woman says the candidate that Maine loves that's going to take away a Senate seat from the Republicans all of a sudden is like, I don't believe her, okay? I don't fucking believe her, guys. And not for a minute. And let me just tell you guys, okay? You ready? Let me tell you. You know me. You know I am not like 𝗙𝗢𝗃 on the brain, okay? You know I am not. I am like, you know, I realize there's going to be some 𝗙𝗃 Democrats, yada, yada, yada. I am not one of these people where I'm a hammer and everything is an 𝗙𝗃 nail. That has not been my way. I am not a like 𝗙𝗃 on the brain leftist, okay? I'm not. You know this. I am like in the middle of the road of like, you know, absolutely believing like we need to stop the genocide, but also not thinking that every 𝗙𝗃 person is like the devil, right? I've been able to sort of see a wide array of like, you know, shades of gray on that. And yet, today, every single person that has come out and has been amplifying the Platner shit has had two things in common. Number one is they're MAGA and they're trying to say that Graham Platner is a Nazi. I know without a doubt that Graham Platner is not a Nazi. Okay? I know it. I know in my bones the guy is not a Nazi. There's no question that he's not a Nazi. He did get a questionable tattoo in overseas with some Marines. And like, you know, yeah, that is questionable, but I didn't know that tattoo was a Nazi symbol. Okay? If I had seen that tattoo on a parlor wall, I would not know that that is a Nazi symbol. I would not know, right? It is not like a swastika. But so one, there's like MAGAs who are saying he's a Nazi. But you know what the other thing is, guys? Every Democrat that says Platner's got to go, if you go and look at their profiles, you will see that they are like Zionists or deeply pro-Israel. Every pro-Israel Democrat is trying to sink Graham Platner. And that's weird. I mean, maybe they're all like convinced he is a Nazi, but he's not a fucking Nazi. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a fucking break, dude. And to me, that's weird, guys. That is weird. You know what I'm saying? You're saying all SS headgear, but like, dude, I have not memorized the shit that is on SS headgear. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I will venture to guess that 90% of the people who ever saw that tattoo on Graham Platner's body, nobody had any idea that big, ugly, like melted fucking skull was a Nazi symbol until they got told it by somebody who was like deeply educated about that shit. Okay? I mean, people know swastikas. That is pretty obvious. But I mean, to me, it is believable that a young Marine went out with some other Marines and they got this tattoo, you know, and then, you know what I'm saying? That's entirely believable to me that he was not getting it. I mean, if he's really a Nazi, why didn't he fucking just get a swastika, right? Everybody I've known who is an actual Nazi just gets swastikas so people know. There's no question about it. Like, come on, man. Yeah, I know. I saw that he had it for his brother's wife and family. Nobody knew that shit. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody fucking knew that shit. I don't know, dude. I just don't believe he's a Nazi, guys. I don't believe he's a Nazi. I mean, I think I'm certain that he has grappled with some misogyny, and I'm certain that behavior got exacerbated when he was in the military. And I know that he has like some warts and has had some trauma and has had some shit. And yet, I think many of us have. I don't think there's a man alive that is 40 years old plus that has not grappled with some misogyny or some like legacy of misogyny of shit we got put into us by society or our fathers or ways where we were shitty when we were around groups of men. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, when I was in the fraternity, dude, I was shitty, okay? I was shitty. I was 21. You know, I was 20 and I was trying to fit in with a group of guys. And I said things and I fucking, you know, behaved in ways that were like judgmental and raunchy. And you know, I spent like most of my adult life trying to correct and untangle that shit. But like, that doesn't mean I should fucking, I'm not a good person now. And I haven't wrestled with some of that stuff. You know, this idea that that we grow up in a deeply misogynist and fucking shitty society and we're supposed to come out unscathed and with perfect shining examples, I think that's unrealistic, man. I think like we're all like covered in warts and problems and you know, I don't know, man. It's just really like, I don't believe, and I could find out I am wrong, but I believe that this shit is, it is feeling like a hit job, okay? It is, guys. It is feeling like the swift boating stuff. This is what this feels like. I have seen, you know, hit jobs, and I have seen like people, I mean, we've all seen people that have genuine allegations, right? You know what I mean? And like, then you've seen other people that are fucking, you know, grappling with real world issues. But man, I am telling you, this is a hit job. And this is a hit job for two reasons. One is because he is going to win the Maine Senate seat, and the Republicans know if he runs and he's going to win. Okay? They know it. I think they know it. That's why they're trying to get the Dems to implode on him, because the very shit they're attacking is shit that will help him win Maine. Okay? The very shit that they're trying to like attack him on is the reason some of the dudes in Maine are going to vote for this guy. Right? And that is very problematic to the Republicans, okay? He's going to win that fucking seat. That's number one. But number two, guys, I think some Democrats are really concerned about actual pro-Palestinian, like really hardcore people who believe Israel is committing a genocide. A lot of Democrats don't want those kinds of candidates in office, okay? They want candidates who will say, ooh, Israel really did a bad thing in Gaza, and I disagree with it, so we're going to limit their funding to defensive funding, but we're not going to say it's a genocide. We're going to seek out a two-state solution so we can have this, you know, ethnic state. And then the Palestinians can have their little ethnic state, and we'll draw the boundaries. And then Israel will probably keep taking their territory like it does to Lebanon and everybody else. And then we'll just pretend like we don't see it. They like want that version of like Israel is bad. And people who are like, no, they're like genocidal and we need to take away all their fucking missiles and shit so they stop attacking everybody. I think there are a lot of Democrats who don't want that type of person in office. And I didn't realize how, I don't know, how obvious it was, right? Now I feel like it's getting more and more obvious. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like it's getting more and more obvious. I think, you know, It is getting more and more obvious to me. It's fucking weird, dude. It's weird, boss. It is. It is like genuinely like creepy. Okay, let's look at that New York Times article. And then we're going to look at the woman who was the, the person involved. I mean, what a fucking hack job, okay? What a hack job, boss. All right. So, and then we're going to look at Platner on fucking Chris. We're going to look at this too on Chris Hayes. But so here's the article. But several women who dated Graham Platner recall unsettling behavior. And like, guys, I mean, what does that mean? Several women who dated a man who came back from combat service with an alcohol problem and PTSD remember him being traumatized. Like, no shit. Dude, I mean, what are we doing here? If he came back from Iraq and had no unsettling behavior, he would be a fucking sociopath. He would be Ted fucking Bundy, right? Give me a fucking break, dude. All right? But you ready? Let's look at this. Graham Platner, a combat veteran, has spoken openly about his past struggles with PTSD, depression, drinking, and has said his behavior years ago does not reflect who he is today. Okay? The Democratic candidate for Senate in Maine could be charming, women said in interviews, but some found his actions intimidating and disturbing. All right. On Tuesday evening, after a whirlwind day in Washington, Graham Platner, the Dem candidate for Senate in Maine, rushed home. Rumors were spreading from Portland to the Potomac about his messy personal life after news reports he had sent sexual messages to women while married. Dem senators were pressing him about whether more damaging revelations were coming. Journalists were swarming, staking out his hometown. Amid the turmoil, Platner worked the phones, rolling through calls to ex-girlfriends who might publicly acknowledge that while he may have been a bad boyfriend, he was in fact a decent guy. In interviews with the Times on Wednesday, several women did just that, describing Platner as a fun and caring partner and saying they felt safe with him. Some remain friends with him to this day, years after their relationship ended. But in extensive conversations over the past 2 months, 3 other women who had been romantically involved with Mr. Platner offered a far more complicated assessment, describing volatile and toxic relationships that were unsettling and at times emotionally wrenching. But guys, let me just tell you right here, every human being, okay, that is struggling with an alcohol problem, with alcoholism and or drug addiction and or PTSD, or who grew up in an abusive family, is going to have volatile and toxic relationships that are unsettling and emotionally wrenching. And in fact, a toxic and unsettled person will find a toxic and unsettled partner to reverberate with. So, like, my God, if I run for office, do you know how many women in my life they could find from my past that I had, unsettling and emotionally wrenching relationships with when I was like on the run from my, childhood essay? Like, dude, give me a fucking break. Every relationship until Jenny 13 years ago, every relationship I ever had was, high strung, yelling, occasionally things like pulling paintings off the wall and breaking things. You know what I'm saying? And no, I never hit anyone. I never did any domestic abuse, but like, dude, it was like I was in a lot of relationships with people getting drunk a lot and fighting and crying and screaming. I mean, they could probably find neighbors in LA that recall me and girlfriends like screaming at each other at 3 a.m, I mean, dude, it's just, I feel like if you have PTSD, if you have a drinking or drug problem, this is like par for the course, you know? And now the question is Graham Platner, is he going to go to Washington and do that? Get drunk and start sleeping around and start, whatever, being a fucking clown? I don't think that he is, guys. I think he's genuinely, like, it seems like he's in therapy. Him and his wife are in therapy. They're going to couples counseling. They're trying to, like, figure this shit out. Okay? So, I mean, and yes, if he does and it becomes a thing, we fucking get rid of him. Every Republican is doing that. I know. I just think it's unrealistic to think a combat vet that came back from Iraq with PTSD isn't going to have like a bunch of like shitty relationships when he comes back. But anyway, you ready? Mr. Platner could be charming, charismatic, they recalled in interviews, but also demeaning to women, and in at least one case, even physically threatening. He drank heavily and was regularly unfaithful. Okay? Now, again, I think the drinking heavily was probably a significant motivator behind much of the toxicity in these relationships. I would be willing to bet the heavy drinking was a huge fucking, not the cause of it, but a huge enabler for a lot of their toxic relationships. All right. Mr. Platner, 41, a combat vet, has spoken openly, grappling with PTSD, depression, and drinking that he said resulted from his time in the military. As revelations about him have surfaced, including his dismissive remarks online about rape and derogatory comments about women, as well as a tattoo he had that is widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. See, I disagree with that assessment. Again, it is not that widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. A swastika is widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. I will say, I will give it that the Totenkopf is a Nazi symbol, but I disagree that it is widely recognized. I bet I could take that and another skull and crossbones out on the street, and I could go to 100 people with them, and I bet that 85 of them would not pick that one as the Nazi if I said, which one of these two is a Nazi symbol? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe it is widely known. All right, he said that his past behavior does not reflect who he is today. Mainers, he has urged, should not judge him for the worst thing I said on the internet on my worst day 14 years ago. Now, one thing, guys, I do want to point out here is I've seen the stuff he said about women and the shit, about, oh, they shouldn't, they should be careful getting drunk or who they sleep with or whatever. And is that shit rotten? Yes, it is. But it was like 15 years ago, guys. It was like a full 7 years before Me Too. And it was a guy who got out of the Marines after being in the war, and he came back. I have no doubt that this guy came back from the war a misogynist fucking pig. I have no doubt. If you go in the Marines, they're literally all misogynist fucking pigs. They're trained to be like people eating machines. You know what I'm saying? So I have no doubt that he came out of the war and he fucking said some questionable shit. Of course he did. Nobody's getting out of the Marines and coming out of war with their buddies, and then they're going to go get in a chat room and start talking about how, they're pro-LGBTQ and start espousing feminism. I think if anything, he fucking came back a not good person, okay? And then he evolved over years of toxic relationships and losing women he loved and struggling with alcohol and PTSD, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? And again, if he had said something like that last year in a chat room if last year in an interview he said something nasty about women, I'd be like, fuck this guy. But like, bro, if like, we gotta believe, okay, that people can go from being a misogynist pig to being a person who is no longer misogynist. We have to believe that. Otherwise, our society has no hope because we're literally all raised to be misogynist pigs. My God, go into a fucking middle school and look at what society does to young men. Go into a gamer headset and talk to some gamers and see what young men are dealing with as far as misogyny. Look at like Andrew Tate, Logan and Jake Paul. Look at these influencers, 𝗙𝗪𝗪. Dude, they're all fucking assholes, misogynist pricks. Look at the fucking president. I think a guy coming out of the military and being a misogynist asshole and then atoning for it and trying to become a better guy and acknowledging like, yeah, I was pretty fucked up back then. I don't want to be fucked up like that now. We can be better. I think that's actually fucking seems healthy to me. Seems healthy to me. Again, I don't get the alarm bells with Platner. And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not getting the alarm bells with this guy. Because I feel like if he really still was an abuser, I would get alarm bells like I normally do. I normally have a pretty good radar about abusive men because I grew up around one. Okay? I grew up in a household with a fucking abusive man. I have like antenna that look for abusive men. I am like so hyper vigilant about abusive men. And none of that gets kicked up with Graham Platner. And that is something I fucking pay attention to when I'm trying to mete out, like, is this guy really an abuser? Or was this guy just a shitty Marine who came out? And part of this is my own family experience, okay? Because I watched half brothers go into the military and literally come back different people, okay? I watched half brothers of mine that I knew their whole life, and they came back from the military, and they weren't good people, okay? They weren't. My half brothers, when they had been in the military, and especially the one who went to Iraq 1, he came back, and he was not a good person, guys. He was a terrible fucking person. Now, unfortunately, he didn't go the route that Platner did. He didn't go to therapy. He ended up spiraling into alcoholism, having a bunch of abusive relationships, eventually having a schizophrenic break and getting discharged from the military. He flipped out on me once on a vacation down in Coronado. I mean, my half brother like spiraled into wreckage. But anyway, I just think the fact that none of this is recent is telling. Okay? All right, you ready? The critical accounts provided by 3 of the women interviewed who were each in romantic relationships with him for years give a fuller picture of Platner's life. They shed light on an earlier era when he acknowledged intense struggles, but also raised questions about his more recent years in Maine, which his campaign has presented as a period of healing and personal redemption. The disclosures last week that Mr. Platner, now married, was exchanging sexual messages with women as recently as last year have complicated that narrative and unnerved Democrats who see the Maine seat as key to their efforts to regain control of the Senate. Now, here we go. This woman, Lyndsey Fifield, 40, a Virginia conservative who has worked for right-leaning groups and Republican campaigns, recalled him as cavalierly contemptuous of women's emotions, of our weakness. Ms. Fifield, who dated Mr. Platner from 2013 to 2015, said that his offensive online posts reminded me of just how much he hated women. Okay, now again, what she's talking about, she dated this guy 11 years ago. The other thing is, she is not a Virginia conservative who has worked for right-leaning groups. Right-leaning? Dude, this woman works for the fucking Heritage Foundation. Okay? This woman, Fifield, works for the most far right, like evangelical Christian nationalist Project 2025 group on the planet. She works for the group that put Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court. Okay? Kavanaugh, that Susan Collins voted for. Okay? She is not a right-leaning person. She is literally works for the devil of right-wing extremism in America, the people that are trying to currently take over our government. So no, she is not credible. Fuck her, okay? And we're going to look at her in a second, but fuck Lyndsey Fifield, okay? I don't believe a goddamn thing she said. All right, now Jenny 𝗍𝗍, 41, a Maine Democrat, who said she dated him casually on and off between 2019 and 2021, said the post deepened her belief that he did not respect women. When I saw the old comments he made online, she said, I recognize a version of him that I had experiences with. Okay. Now, that is like she dated him casually on and off between 2019 and 2021. So, like, what does that mean? They were fuck buddies? Okay, they were fuck buddies. So is it possible that if they were fuck buddies, like that, like maybe they, I don't know, maybe that relationship was looked at as something that was, you know, like not exactly about, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to describe what their relationship was like, you know, but again, no claims of actual abuse, no claims of harm. All right. Some of the women also raised questions about his trustworthiness. Mr. Platner's insistence he didn't know his tattoo was a Nazi symbol till it became a campaign issue was not true, according to the Heritage Foundation woman, right? And she said he taught her the word for it, referring to it as his 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Now, again, I don't believe this woman, the Heritage Foundation woman. I don't care what she says in this piece. I don't believe any woman who works for the Heritage Foundation who is talking about a Democratic candidate a week before the primary. No. Dude, this guy's been in this campaign for 2 years. Where was this woman? Where was she? Where was she when this shit first came out? Right? Nowhere. She was nowhere. Dude, she's a Heritage Foundation operative. Give me a fucking break, dude. She works in the political world. She could have easily voiced this up. And this is not a case of her being graped and like dealing with crazy shit. And what's more, they don't even find any corroborating evidence of this. All right. So his campaign strongly denied he knew what the tattoo stood for. And Platner himself said he too often self-medicated with alcohol, was far from a perfect boyfriend. He said, I take responsibility for all that and wish I had been better. Any characterization beyond that is false and I believe politically motivated. Not proud of who I was then, but I'm proud of the work I've done since and the movement we are building in Maine. Okay, now, this article is based on interviews with more than 24 people, including 6 women who had been romantically involved with Platner. They spoke with friends or acquaintances of several of the women, reviewed contemporaneous texts and social media messages, saw some of Miss Fifield's diary entries. Platner declined to be interviewed for the article. The women who described difficult relationships with Platner knew him at different points in his life. Fifield said she dated him when they were both in their late 20s. During a time Platner described as challenging. Miss 𝗍𝗍 knew him in Maine when they were in their mid-30s, and he was working on his oyster farm. And the third woman, a Democrat from Maine who spoke on the condition of anonymity, had a long-distance relationship with Mr. Platner on and off for years, 10 years ago, guys. Again, right? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Again, 10 years. Dude, nobody has said boys will be boys. I have not said boys will be boys. Okay? I have not said that. I've never said boys will be boys. I think that, like, the way he behaved when he got out of the Marines and the fact that he had that tattoo and all of that shit is, like, toxic. I think even going into the Marines is fucking toxic. Okay? I think literally even going into the Marines, okay, even going into the Marines is like a horrible sign. Even though people get out of the Marines and become representatives, I think anyone who goes into the Marines is fucking suspect to begin with. That in and of itself is a questionable choice because you're like fucking sensitive, like self-aware men do not go in the fucking Marines. They don't go in the military. No man that has any kind of a fucking healthy fucking sense of self is going to go join the military and go kill people to begin with. So every man in Congress that has been in the military is fucking questionable. Okay? The military itself is like not a healthy place. Healthy, well-adjusted people don't join the army to get hired to go kill random people because their country tells them to. I mean, I know we've somehow created the fact that the military is this good thing, but like, it's not. It's profoundly unhealthy for the men in it. And like, even having a military that goes to war is like really toxic, you know? You know what I'm saying? But I'm not boys will be boysing this at all. I just think, again, this guy came out of the military a terrible fucking person. And he had an alcohol problem. And he fucking has talked at great length about grappling with depression and PTSD. And he's like trying to overcome it. And everyone's like, you gotta condemn him for life. And I'm like, fuck that. You know, and I relate to a lot of this because I struggled with PTSD and I struggled with alcoholism and I struggled with institutional misogyny and I struggled with emulating an abusive dad and having to outgrow that shit. And like, I'm a good fucking human being. And so I know you can overcome it, right? So, I mean, you know, whoever said like, I'm boys will be boysing this, I am not, okay? His behavior was toxic as shit. But the question is has this man acknowledged his toxic and shit behavior? And is he trying to be a better person? And is that worth something? And what's more, I want to win the fucking Senate, okay? And if you have Janet Mills in there or that fucking Costello guy, we're not going to win the Senate, all right? And like, I don't know, man. At this point, under the Trump presidency, am I willing to take a flawed, like, person covered in warts who is a goddamn fighter? Yes, I am. I'm like, fascism is so close to us, and there are such real issues that I am willing to take a flawed warrior with a good heart who wants to do the right thing over some fucking Ivy League prick that has never said a bad thing in his life, but he's going to be a gutless turd who takes a bunch of stock options and lets, you know, Israel blow up everybody in the Middle East, okay? That's where I'm at, okay? And maybe Donald Trump has lowered us to that point, but I mean, I feel like I am a flawed human being who gets out there and, dude, I just got suspended 2 days ago from Twitter for making a bang your mom joke, okay? A bang your mom joke is misogynist, guys, okay? And I am aware that the bang your mom joke is misogynist, and yet I still partake in it because I'm not misogynist and I'm not saying that joke to fucking degrade women, but like, could it be viewed as misogynist? Yeah. I mean, you could look at my love for adult entertainers as misogynist, I mean, some people think that the fact that I like adult entertainers means I am misogynist. I mean, and maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't think I'm actually a fucking woman hater, and I don't think women being adult entertainers is really bad, but like, I don't know, dude. It's just this idea that like we're going to sacrifice fighters right now with hearts in the right place because we're concerned about, putting some fucking, like, I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's just hard. It's just hard. This shit is hard, man. But anyway, we soldier on. But anyway, you ready? So again, pretty much all of this shit in this article, okay? Pretty much all of this shit in this article is like 10 or 11 years ago, guys. Okay? And there's one woman who dated him casually 5 years ago. But again, guys, you ready? None of these women that are saying this negative shit about him is in the last 5 years. Okay? And I think that is telling to me, okay? Because, like, if he really were problematic, I would imagine that, like, there would be something recent if this was, like, still going on. Okay, but anyway, let's go back into this some more. All right. So the three described him in similar terms. They said spending time with him could be exhilarating, but they also recounted patterns of heavy drinking and womanizing. Asked to sum up how he treated her, the third woman said she felt like collateral damage to the world that is his. Okay? And again, though, to me, I think what's hard about this, and this is not a boys will be boys thing, but this is anyone who's a drinking problem. I've dated some women that had drug problems that, like, I was collateral damage to their addiction. And my son's mom was collateral damage to my addiction. And she still hates me. Okay? My son is 21 and my son's mom still hates me, guys, because of, like, how bad I was in our relationship. Just for some context here. All right. So when the Heritage Foundation op met Mr. Platner in 2013, he was a student at George Washington University, and she was working on veterans issues at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Their roughly 2-year on-again, off-again relationship was heady and passionate. Lyndsey, I love you in a way I can't even describe. He texted her in 2016. You are literally everything to me. And there's a picture of them, okay, back in 2013. And she said she recognized Mr. Platner was struggling with the aftermath of his military service and thought she could help him, which means she was like, had some codependence, I guess, going on. Ms. Fifield, who was navigating family challenges at the time, recalls that period as emotionally rocky for her, too. She says Mr. Platner could be rough with her, particularly when they were drinking, leaving her shaken and sometimes afraid. In the interview, she grappled with how to process her experiences. She was quick to note he never hit me, he never punched me. But she said he regularly grabbed her by the shoulders, sometimes hard enough to leave marks, and on one occasion, yanked her out of a cab by her wrist after an argument when she wanted to stay in the car. During one argument, she recalled he twisted her arm behind her back, shoved her into a bedroom, and held the door closed from the other side so she couldn't get out, telling her to remain there until she was calm. Eventually, she said she fell asleep and left the next morning. But again, I don't know. Like, what does that mean? Like, he held the door for how many hours? And she works for who? The Heritage Foundation? I don't know if I believe, like, some of this stuff. It hurt, she said, but she added it didn't cause an injury. It didn't break my arm. Mr. Platner strongly disputes any claims of physical intimidation or altercations. The Times could not independently corroborate her account of the altercations. Now, this is important, guys, is the Times went and talked to her friends, talked to co-workers, talked to associates, tried to find some other corroboration of people that had heard about this or had seen it. Is there a taxi driver in the cab, right? What was the cab company? But they could not corroborate. Now, that's important because now we have a woman who works for the Heritage Foundation giving us talk about a candidate a week before a primary that he's going to win a Senate seat, and the Times could not find a corroboration. All right, Fifield also recalled his displays of weaponry, discussions of violence, sometimes left her uneasy. He kept an AR-15 lying around his apartment and would sharpen an axe while watching television. He had what she described as a warrior ethos, would fantasize about killing people he deemed a threat. She said he told her that that rape was about power. I mean, it is, right? It was something that stuck with her through the years. He said this a lot. If anybody ever broke in here, I would rape them. She recalled saying that he added it would not be in a sexual way, not in a gay way. He was like, I would rape them to show them I'm dominant. Now, that sounds tremendously fucked up, okay? That does. Like, somebody saying that is like, oh, fuck, dude. That sounds tremendously fucked up. And at the same time, if he did in fact say that, that also seems like a Marine who is like PTSD'd and depressed and strung out on alcohol might say some crazy outlandish shit like that. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Dude, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. But yeah, that's fucked up. Mr. Platner had overlapping relationships with other women while they dated, also referred to women as hatchet wounds, a crude term for female anatomy. The Times reviewed texts between Ms. Fifield and Platner, along with Google chat exchanges, texts, and Facebook messages with her and her friends during and after the relationship. The Times also reviewed some of Ms. Fifield's diary entries from after the relationship had ended, spoke with two of her friends who confirmed that the pair had an emotionally volatile relationship, but could not corroborate the physical altercations or most controversial comments she described. Now, guys, that's important there. Because again, the Times reviewed her diaries, her fucking text messages and chat messages and all that shit from the time of this stuff, and they couldn't corroborate, which means she didn't talk about these events she's recounting in her diary. She didn't recall them with friends. She wasn't texting people about them. She didn't share any of this stuff with anyone. And that's really fucking bizarre, guys. Okay? It is. It is bizarre that it just makes me think that they were both doing a lot of drinking and they were both in really bad places, and that really, emotionally volatile shit used to happen. But it doesn't sound like a recurring abuse kind of shit. You know what I mean? And there she is, all right? And she said she did not expect her friends to offer that corroboration because she did not tell anyone at the time, saying she had been embarrassed, right? I don't know, man. Dude. I don't know. But again, she works for the Heritage Foundation. The impact of the relationship on Miss Fifield's life lingered for years, she said. She referred to him in a diary entry in June 2016 as the most toxic, literally abusive man on earth who destroyed my life. Those close to her encouraged her to move on. Do not call Graham. A friend messaged her that year, right? Miss Fifield, who is affiliated with Independent Women, a conservative group, insisted that her political beliefs have nothing to do with her choice to come forward. She worked briefly on Nikki Haley's 2024 presidential campaign, and before that for the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank that is trying to launch Project 2025 on the world. Ms. Fifield said she had not been paid since Haley's campaign. Platner said, let's be very clear. This is a lifelong GOP operative who's dedicated her career to electing Republicans. She said she had no connection to the campaign of Senator Collins. She acknowledged that independent women had been supportive of Ms. Collins, but she had not been active with the organization recently. I know it looks like a bitter ex-girlfriend Republican trying to take down a Democrat. Has nothing to do with that, Ms. Fifield said. If he was running as a Republican, I would be doing this exact same thing. Dance party, let's go! But again, I don't know, boss. All right, dude, we'll do the dance party. Let's do it. So, and Carrie Lucas, president of Independent Woman, said she was never an employee, was last paid in 2022. Platner's campaign arranged interviews for the Times with 3 other women who dated him over a period of 7 years and all support his candidacy. They describe a very different kind of relationship. Caroline Lemp, who dated him for several months in 2013, said he was a gentle giant. She said he never made her feel unsafe or showed any signs that he was struggling with the physical or mental effects of his military service. He was a great boyfriend, said Miss Lemp, 36, who now lives in St. Louis. He was super kind, very nice, fun. The others who spoke on the condition of anonymity said Platner was never physically threatening. One, a nurse from Belfast, Maine, who dated him a couple months after he returned home to Maine, described him as a responsible, intelligent, and supportive. Another who dated him in Washington between 2011 and 2013 said she witnessed some potentially problematic behavior, referring to his heavy drinking, but she felt really safe with him. Now, it goes on to talk about the Totenkopf, but again, that is all coming from the woman who is the Heritage Foundation. So now, the thing about this is the bulk of this piece, the claims of like physicality that didn't include hitting or harm, but like supposedly included some physicality. Thank you, Steph. Let's go. And the Totenkopf part were all from the Fifield woman, okay? And I think we do have to look at this woman, okay? We do have to look at the Fifield woman who is now coming forward with this, because here she is, okay? Here she is.
I will tell you, I'm extraordinarily proud of IWF. It's not well known, but after Jeff Flake got caught in the elevator, a moment I think none of us will ever forget. Absolutely paralyzed by the activist asking him questions and not knowing what to say. We were approached and they said, can you tell us how to talk about supporting Kavanaugh without alienating the Me Too movement? We wrote a memo. It was used by a lot of members of the Senate and the House and Fox News and elsewhere. But most important is Susan Collins told me that without that memo, she could not have seen how to support him. And if you look at her speech that she gave on the Senate floor, it is entirely the playing out and architecture of how we said to structure the argument and what to say and how to say it, which is just so gratifying.
So this is the woman making the claims against Graham Platner a couple years ago, talking how proud she was that she authored the memo that taught Republicans how to support Brett Kavanaugh during his rape accusations without like affecting the Me Too movement. And in fact, Susan Collins was a huge fan of that memo. Okay? This is the woman making all those claims against Graham Platner. That's wild, isn't it? Huh. So she was deeply behind that. And in fact, you ready? Inez Stepman and Lyndsey Fifield are 2 millennial women who co-founded the group Ladies for Kavanaugh to show their support for the nominee when they felt that view was being left out of the public disclosure. Their day jobs are in conservative politics. Stepman at the Independent Women's Forum and Fifield at the Heritage Foundation. Their pro-Kavanaugh group was formed on their own time. Fifield and her pro-Kavanaugh friends had stayed quiet during the original hearings while liberal women raged in the streets on social media. But in the wake of the baseless 11th hour accusations orchestrated to stop Kavanaugh's confirmation, we couldn't stay silent anymore, Fifield said. So this woman who supposedly is saying that she had this problem with a toxic, abusive man went on to defend Brett Kavanaugh and author some of the talking points to help like Republicans support him without pissing off Me Too. I mean, that seems like relevant, doesn't it? Dude, that seems pretty wild. And she was connected, okay? She was connected to the Heritage Foundation, to Susan Collins, and to Kavanaugh. The Anti-Epstein Memorial Ballroom Fund. Let's go. Thank you, Payne. So I don't know, guys. I don't know, dude. Like I said, I feel in my bones like this is a hit job and they're trying to destroy the candidacy because they know that he's going to beat Susan Collins. And it's weird because I have not been a huge Platner supporter. You think it's weird that we're questioning this? What do you mean questioning? I don't know what you mean. That you think it's weird that we're not just believing the woman from the Heritage Foundation? Dude, I don't believe the woman from the Heritage Foundation. Right? I don't believe the woman from the Heritage Foundation at all. You know? Dude, Joe Biden was right. Dude, fuck Joe Biden. Give me a fucking break, dude. Dude, Joe Biden was like befriended all of the most racist pricks and he didn't even speak up about segregation. Like, fuck Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't get to like talk to anybody about their souls. Okay? Joe Biden went through fucking segregation without ever saying peep. And then he was good buddies with fucking Robert Byrd and all of the Southern racist motherfuckers. So Joe Biden can fuck directly off. Okay? Like, I'm not going to, that man and who was like welcome home when Trump won the election and he kind of sank Kamala Harris. Like, you know, I mean, I realize he was trying to atone for his sins, but I you know, and I don't think fucking, I don't think Joe Biden is, you know, he also didn't do anything about Gaza. So I'm not really going to get behind Joe Biden, you know? Yeah, I'm serious. Dude, I don't have any, like, I feel like Joe Biden is a big part of the reason why we have fucking Trump in office right now, okay, is because Joe Biden ran when he shouldn't have, and he wouldn't fucking step down when he should have, and he wouldn't fall on the sword, and then he fucked up Kamala's campaign multiple times, and I think he would rather have had Trump win than have Kamala. It would have looked like an embarrassment on his legacy, right? And so I don't, that's why people, even seeing Hunter Biden, like, I think it's great that Hunter Biden is sober and sassy, but fuck that guy ever thinking he's going to become president. Like, there's no fucking way, dude. There will never be another Biden as a president while I'm around. I'm going to fight that like fucking hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I mean, I appreciate Joe's service and, you know, he did some good things in there. And like I said, he did try to atone for his youth, you know, his toxic youth. But see, that's just it, guys. You ready? Hear me out on this. And to those of you who are like attacking Graham Platner or whatever, Joe Biden was like best friends with one of the most racist, toxic KKK motherfuckers. And yet you forgive him. And he was like, oh, he somehow became better. And you forget that he was a racist motherfucker who did not fight segregation and befriended those racist ass motherfuckers in the 70s. Robert Byrd and shit and Strom Thurmond, he was tight with those guys. And you all will forgive him and say that he like became a better person. But then anybody else that like tries to do the same thing, you're like, no, they said something bad about women 15 years ago, or they did something bad 20 years ago. They fucking are now, right? I mean, to me, that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And like, I never liked Joe Biden. I didn't like him with Obama. I felt like he was the racist white guy that they attached to Obama. You know what I'm saying? But, that's how I felt like with Joe Biden. I mean, I supported him in 2020 because I wanted Trump out and I felt like he could win. And again, somebody said, you forgive this guy, but you can't forgive Biden. I voted for Biden. So don't give me that shit. Fuck you. I voted for Joe Biden despite my reservations. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So like fuck off with that shit. And if I was in Maine, I would vote for Graham Platner over Susan Collins. Okay? So I don't really want to hear that because I didn't sink Biden's campaign in 2020 because of all my reservations about him and Robert Byrd and shit. I supported him. I voted for him. I supported his ass in 2024, even after all the Gaza shit. So, like, don't give me any shit about, like, supporting people with warts, okay? Because I realize that sometimes you have to support less than perfect people, And that's just it, okay? I supported, and I'm telling you, though, guys, this shit with Graham Platner it feels like it really is more about that Israel shit, that Zionist shit, that he wants to end the reign of Zionism and the factions of both parties that are deeply Zionist want to keep people like that out, whether they're Graham Platner or Abdullah Sayed or fucking Zoran Mamdani. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can name a million of them. But it's weird though, because some of the people, some Democrats who trashed on Zoran Mamdani supported Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, after all of his sexual abuse, like sexual harassment allegations, some of the Democrats supported Andrew Cuomo. And why? Because they didn't like Zoran Mamdani being like anti-Zionist or being a Muslim. Like, that's fucking weird, boss. Dude. I don't know, dude. All right, let's watch Platner's video though, and then we're going to move on. Okay? Let's watch Platner's video. Again, right? I fucking, for whatever reason, I just believe that this is a hit job. All right? I do. I believe it's a hit job. All right? But anyway, I'll put a link to this tweet here. I think, yo. If Biden was all that, they would have got Obama out of the way from the start. I mean, the thing about, the thing about, that's complicated about Biden and Obama is it was Joe Biden's racist, white, traditional, like nearly Republican style of Democrat history was why they paired him with Obama, because that was one of the things that made a bunch of white people more comfortable with the idea of Obama being president. You know, I mean, and I don't think Joe Biden's a bad guy. Okay, I don't get me wrong. I think Joe Biden's heart was in the right place, and he genuinely was trying to atone for his past. Okay, there's no doubt that Joe Biden, but again, guys, that's just it. You can be a good person with a big heart and still like be grappling with profound racism or deep misogyny or rage issues or alcohol issues or sexual addiction or, you know, but the question, I guess, for me is like I think, you ready? Hold on and hear me out on this. I speak in tongues like Paula too. 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙 Dude, thank you, Marisol. So anyway, guys, I just want to say this. You guys have been here, okay? You guys have been here in this chat with me now, many of you, for a while. And I've had many people in this chat say they love my honesty, they love my integrity, they love how evolved I've become about like certain issues and shit and my point of view, my wisdom and all that. But I'm telling you, and many of you have said you should run for office, okay? But let me just tell you guys, if I were to run for office, you would be seeing me get attacked just like Graham Platner. They would be pulling up women I dated when I was an alcoholic, women I dated who I cheated on, women I dated who heard me say questionable things while I was in recovery, etc., etc. I guess part of the reason why, like, as I looked deeper into Graham Platner's fucking life, because I didn't like him in the beginning, okay? I did not like him for the tattoo, for the comments, for being the rich kid. You know, there were a lot of things. And then I started, like, leaning into him because a lot of leftists really like this guy. And I started listening to him speak and seeing him interact with Maine voters and shit. And then I found myself relating to him on a level of, like, I don't know, trying to overcome some of this institutional gnarliness of you know, being like having been raised in an environment of toxic manhood, okay? Which is what I was raised in. I was raised by a really toxic man who raised me to be a womanizing, drinking, toxic man. And I rebelled against that. And I became something better. But like, I joined a fraternity. I played rock and roll. I had a bunch of like questionable relationships. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've done some crazy shit. Okay? Like hung out, like, you know, hired sex workers and like had some really crazy shit that if I run for office, all of that's going to get dredged up. You know what I'm saying? And Zero Bit, when I say, yeah, but Zero Bit, why did I say fuck Biden, boss? Because of what Biden did last year, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're saying, oh, Platner can evolve, but fuck Biden. Biden evolved. I voted for that motherfucker. Okay? I supported him in both elections, even when he was brain dead. And then he still said, Trump, welcome home, after he embarrassed Kamala twice. So yeah, dude, fuck Biden. Because, dude, during the goddamn campaign and after Trump won, he was still being an asshole. So yeah, dude. Right? I mean, give me a fucking break. Bro, if he hadn't said Trump, welcome home, if he had said you're a fucking fascist and I'm really uncomfortable with you fucking being president again, then I wouldn't be saying fuck Biden. If he had fallen on the sword over Gaza and recognized the party was in disarray and had done something to actually help Kamala win or help somebody else win, I wouldn't be saying fuck Biden. I'd be saying, goddamn, dude, Biden's a hero. But no, I defended that man, and right up till the end, he behaved kind of like a dumbass. And I don't know if it was the dementia or if it was genuinely him just being so worried about being like outshone by Kamala Harris that he decided he had to like sink her, and having Trump win would be better for his personal legacy than if he dropped out and Kamala won. Right? If Joe Biden dropped out and Kamala loses, that still kind of makes it seem like if Biden had stayed in, he would have beaten Trump. For an old guy, if he really has an ego, that is a move Biden would do, going to kind of sink Kamala, because that way I didn't get embarrassed by her. But if Biden drops out and Kamala wins, then Biden just got cucked and his whole legacy got cucked. And I think Biden fucking behaved in a way that kind of seemed like he was worried more about the Joe Biden legacy than he was worried about America. And that's fucking, for me, that's real problematic. And I supported that guy. Dude, I supported that guy. Like, dude, I was fucking his biggest cheerleader in 2024 right up until that debate. You know, and again, I don't think he's a bad man, even if he's an arrogant, you know, politician. I think politicians and their legacy that like fucks with people. But I don't hate Biden. You know, I don't really want to hear from him anymore, dude. I'm ready for him to just go and enjoy his retirement, move along. And yeah, I don't want Susan Collins to win. And Janet Mills and David Costello cannot beat Susan Collins. Graham Platner can beat Susan Collins, guys. Okay? That's it. Graham Platner can beat Susan Collins. I mean, he absolutely would have been better than fucking Trump. I don't think that's in question. You know, I don't think that's in question. But Biden, like, Biden made some moves that, like, helped us end up with Trump, guys. And I'm not going to let him fucking escape culpability for that. Okay? He did some things that significantly fucked over Kamala Harris. And he did some things in the last, 2 years of his presidency that significantly fucked over the entire Democratic Party. And we're still grappling with this shit. And he could have, fallen on the sword and taken that shit with him and left the party and the country in a better place by him, and the thing is he didn't do that. He saved himself and his, whatever. He saved his legacy more so than, saving the country. And I'm a little bummed by that, because I think I would have done it differently if I was him, But anyway, not to beleaguer a point, let's look at Graham Platner here. There is a quick video we're gonna watch of him talking to Chris Hayes, and then we'll all right, let's fucking see the video.
Graham Platner, Democratic candidate for Senate in Maine, joins me now. Mr. Platner, it's good to have you on. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
I just want to say at the start that, we've had you on before, and I think you and I are both people that...
Dude, I'm going to just go to YouTube with it.
But in other contexts, talk about income inequality and healthcare and all those issues, which are extremely important, and we devote a lot of time to on this program. This is not, the thing that we spend a lot of time chasing. But there's some serious stuff there I want to go through with you, and I think voters have a right to know about it. And I want to start with what Ms. Fifield says about being rough is the term the Times. And I'm going to just read you the account so you have it. This is from the Times. Mr. Platner could be rough with her, Ms. Fifield said, particularly when they were drinking, leaving her shaken and sometimes afraid. In the interviews, she grappled with how to process her experiences. She was quick to note, he never hit me, he never punched me. She said he regularly grabbed her by the shoulders, sometimes hard enough to leave marks. On one occasion, yanked her out of a cab by her wrist after an argument in which she wanted to stay in the car. During one argument, she recalled he twisted her arm behind her back, shoved her into a bedroom, and held the door closed from the other side so she couldn't get out, telling her to remain there until she was calm. Eventually, Ms. Fifield said she fell asleep and left the next morning. It hurt, she said, but she added, it didn't cause any injury. It didn't break my arm. Did that happen?
No, it did not. There are some allegations in this piece that I just want to be kind of unequivocal about are simply not true. Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of someone who's politically motivated. In this piece, there's a lot about my struggling, not being a good boyfriend, certainly self-medicating with alcohol, and I've been very upfront since the beginning of this campaign that was a pretty dark period of my life after I came back from my combat service, and that's what that kind of life looks like. And so there are things in this that I absolutely will take responsibility for and have been speaking about openly for months now. But those serious allegations are just not true.
You did not grab her by the wrist. You did not put your hands on her shoulders. You did not push her into a room that you closed the door on. She's lying about that, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is not true.
You mentioned the tattoo. So I want to talk about that because I think this was troubling to a lot of people, and I think, again, your account of it assuaged some of that fear, clearly in Maine voters, as reflected, again, by reporting and polling. She says, same person, that you referred to the tattoo as 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗍𝗆, which is the German word for this particular Nazi symbol. There's other reporting in Jewish Insider in October in which an anonymous acquaintance says you used that same phrase. Did you know what this tattoo was about before last October when you said you first became aware of it?
No, I did not. And I also think it's important to note that it's very likely, and I think that she is that same source. She's the person who's been telling people this from the beginning. And so I feel like, we're kind of rehashing the thing we've been through. I had that tattoo for 17 years. It's a skull and crossbones. I got it with other Marines who I served with in Iraq, in Croatia. And in the time that I had it, I got a security clearance with the State Department. I re-enlisted in the United States Army, where I was screened for gang and hate tattoos. And I took my shirt off in front of my family, many of whom are Jewish. We even released as a campaign a video, which you're putting up on the screen right now, of me dancing at my brother's wedding to his wife, who is Jewish, and her fully extended Jewish family.
See, guys, now, again, like, he's got his shirt off dancing with his brother and his Jewish wife and all of their family with that whatever, like, ink blot fucking tattoo there, and, like, nobody noticed it, right? I mean, you know how Hegseth got flagged for his tattoos when in his military screening. He, like, went back in the military and re-upped and nobody screened it. You know what I mean? I know it does look like a fucking blob. It is the ugliest fucking tattoo. Like, serious points against this guy for having that tattoo. But again, it's like, if you saw this guy wearing this, walking around, I would have never in a million years known that that was a Nazi symbol. Okay? I wouldn't have. And maybe that means I am just brain dead or cavalier or whatever. But again, I am not a fucking Nazi. I am not, like, anti-Semitic. I was in a fucking Jewish fraternity, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, like, deeply embedded in the Jewish religion. Even though I'm not Jewish, I don't partake. But, the Jewish religion was always my favorite branch of the Abrahamic religion, because they literally didn't shove it down anybody's throats. But whatever, that's my own personal, Abrahamic preferences. But the fact of the matter is that a room full of Jewish family members didn't even know this was a Nazi fucking tattoo. And that's got to amount to something, that's got to amount to something that it is clearly not very obvious, okay? And I would never get a skull and crossbones because I find that shit garish and predictable. But he's also like, he's like, dude, you think if he had a swastika on his chest, he would have taken his shirt off at the party with the Jewish family? Think about that, guys. If he had a swastika on his chest and he went to his brother's wedding with all of their Jewish family there, you know for a fact he would not have taken his fucking shirt off. Okay? Okay? And yet he went and took it off, was dancing with the whole family, and nobody even noticed this shit. So I think that accounts for something. You know? You know what I mean? I mean, dude, to me, there's something about it that, accounts for this shit.
And I would not have taken my shirt off in that context if I had known. And so any statement saying that I did know is again, totally false.
I do want to follow up one place on this, and I don't want to get too forensic, but, the Times basically reported that they saw texts of hers, including a text in August, I believe August 3rd of last year. This would be before October of last year, in which she basically said that you had a, quote, Nazi tattoo, and she joked about how she's going to go volunteer for Collins. Now, again, this is a text that got sent, so, we can place the time, right? This is in August. How does she know it's a Nazi tattoo in August of last year, and you don't know it's a Nazi tattoo in August of last year?
Well, she certainly didn't send that text to me. So whoever she sent it to and was talking to, I can't say why, but I will say that I certainly didn't know. And
I mean, is it possible that the Heritage Foundation, who were like, we're going to fucking sink this guy, that they knew? I mean...
and the text messages she's sending to friends who may have recognized it, they didn't tell me that, so...
Can we talk? I want to talk about the piece that came out before this, which was about what your wife had alerted your internal campaign folks to, and just to sort of stipulate to get out ahead that, I think some people view this as a real betrayal by your former campaign manager, and that may be true, and I understand. And I also watched the video that your wife put out, which I found incredibly compelling and moving, about what you worked through. But just to be clear again on the details here, and there's obviously two subtexts here, right? This is you facing Maine voters at a primary and also a general election that's going to happen. We all know that, right? We're all on the same page. Were you sending sexually explicit messages to other women back in 2023, 2024, as reported in the piece?
So this is the first time in my life that Amy and I's marriage has been the interest of people besides Amy and I.
Yes.
And it's definitely a bit jarring, a bit strange. Yeah. It's also a marriage that is very strong and that I do believe we deserve some privacy in. I will just say this. At the beginning of our marriage, I made mistakes, and Amy held me accountable for them, and we worked through them. And the work that we did made our marriage significantly stronger. And who we are today is an incredibly faithful and happy married couple. Amy is my best friend. I love her more than anything else. And quite honestly, the hardest part about this whole campaign is I don't get to spend as much time with her as I like to. And so it has been it's been a hard experience to have gone through this together as a couple long before our lives were brought out into the public. And then to have it essentially outed by someone that we put our trust in, who then turned around and betrayed Amy's trust, and has now turned, frankly, our private parts of our marriage into a bit of a public political spectacle. It's hard, but it's our marriage. And it's a good marriage, and we're very happy in it and very happy with each other. And I thank my lucky stars every single day that Amy is my wife and that she has given me a lot of grace and a lot of love over the years. And I'm a lucky man for it.
I'm here from you. You don't want to get into specifics and details, and I can respect part of that. But I do want to just make sure on the timeline, right? Because I think there's two things going through people's heads a little bit here, which is, you have talked about self-medicating with alcohol and being pretty messed up when you got back from the service and trying to figure out what you're doing and doing things maybe you wouldn't stand by now and saying things you wouldn't stand by. But this is 2023. And so there's a difference in the time. And I think the first question is like, when did this stop? If it stopped, if there was stuff that you're not proud of that you worked out with your wife, you don't want to talk about the details, when did it stop?
Oh, it stopped when it was happening. I mean, like, it was Amy and I, it happened soon after we got married. And we dealt with it very, very early in our relationship. And so that's when it stopped.
Are there texts of yours, pictures of yours floating around out there, which, again, maybe from a time capsule, but people, I think, are understandably a little nervous. Maybe you'll be the nominee, probably be the nominee for the Maine Senate on Tuesday. And then it's October 10th, and here's a text or picture of Graham Platner that is not the kind of thing that you want to see. Like, are you worried about that? Are there texts like that?
I'm not worried about it. I mean, I went, as I've talked to him, I went through my life through a number of years struggling and not exactly acting with the best behavior. I've been very, very open about that. And if people would like to continue to drag things up from that time in my life, I'm sure that we are going to see at some point somebody attempt to do exactly that. Just know that these are things that happened before I became a public figure, before I got into politics, and it's a part of my life that I'm very happy to talk about and talk about the struggles within. And so I do think that as we move forward, you know, what we've built up here is really something quite spectacular. It's very new. And I think one of the reasons why it's worked so well is because I have been very open with the people of Maine. I go all over the state. I've held over 80 town halls, and I answer questions from Mainers regardless of what the question is. I've made myself very accessible to people, and I want them to know about my struggles because I firmly believe that if you believe in a transformational politics, you got to believe in the ability for people to transform. And my journey is one of transformation. And I'm very happy to talk about that earlier part in my life. And I have no doubt that people will attempt to continue to revisit Reddit posts, continue to try to revisit parts of my past. But I think what's really important to note here is that these are things that I talk about in my past, things that I'm not proud of, but it is a past that I had to go through to get where I am today, and I'm very proud of who I am today, and I'm very proud of the movement that we've built up here in Maine.
Just to be clear, just about revisiting, right? I mean, I think channeling concerns, I think, of Democratic voters and Democratic officials and a lot of people, right? That it's not a question of revisiting, right? It's new revelations, like vis-a-vis, texts or pictures. And I know you want to give some privacy in marriage, but I really do feel like I need to get these answers from you, which is like, the people you were texting with, whatever that was, in whatever context, they were adult women, you knew that, and it was consensual. Is that true?
Yes.
And you have that you confirmed that. You knew their age.
Yes. Oh, God. I mean, yeah. Yes, of course.
Dude, so, I don't know, guys. You ready? Hold on. Ethan! As a Floridian who's watched Castle, Pizzo, and Valdez in the last few years suddenly go mask off, swap from Democrat to go full-blown MAGA, please be wary, Maine voters. Dude, I get it, Ethan. I mean, everybody's looking at Fetterman, right? And Fetterman's been like, get away from Graham Platner. But, so, here's the thing that's crazy, is when I watched him, like, dude, I don't know, man. I was not getting, like, I don't know. I was not getting smarmy, like, fucking, you know what I'm saying? I was not getting smarmy, weaselly, like, politician-y answers out of that shit. Okay? It's weird. It's weird, too. I saw somebody in chat. Somebody said something about my evolution on Platner. Because, guys, a year ago, I hated this guy, okay? I did. A year ago, I fucking hated this guy. And now I'm like, I'm fucking finding myself being very supportive of him. And it's very unusual because normally I don't evolve like that. And I am not like a super leftist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fucking Hasan Piker. You know what I'm saying? I am not. But here's the thing though, guys. You ready? And hear me out on this. Okay? You ready? I still believe this guy can win Maine. Okay? I still believe this guy can win Maine. All right? I believe he can win Maine. I believe he's going to beat Susan Collins, even whatever else they dredge up from him. And I mean, if they dredge up a credible, corroborated like essay allegation, I would turn on this guy in an instant. If it's corroborated, I mean, I'm sorry, for me, the fact that this article right here, it's this right here, okay? That the woman saying this shit is a Heritage Foundation person, and the Times themselves say, the New York Times themselves say they could not, right? That the part, their independent fucking thing, they could not corroborate any of this shit. Okay? The Times themselves said we could not corroborate her allegations. They couldn't independently corroborate it. To me, that's pretty damning. Okay? Like, you know, I feel like if, you know, especially somebody coming from the Heritage Foundation saying this, like, is it weird? Is it weird to us, guys, that the lead person in their fucking hit campaign works for the Project 2025 people? You don't find that a little bit weird? That Project 2025, that thing we're literally fighting with Trump, one of their people is making accusations against the guy who's gonna beat Susan Collins, and the New York Times that printed that story couldn't corroborate any of that shit. That's fucking weird. That's like Donald Trump going to the Times and saying, yeah, man, I was back in New York and me and Platner were doing a bunch of crazy shit. Are you gonna believe that? If Trump interviews with the Times and says, oh yeah, me and Platner went to the fucking racetrack and we did a bunch of shit with some girls. I mean, would you believe that? No, you wouldn't. So why are we believing a woman from the fucking Heritage Foundation? You know? I don't know, man. You know? An edgy white boy with a Nazi-style tattoo was dating a woman that had conservative politics. The deep state is it? No, Drea, you're not wrong. Okay, I mean, guys, let's be honest. Okay, Graham Platner is, I'm sure, somewhere in there is like kind of a good old boy Maine person. Okay, obviously he joined the Marines. I think there's a certain level of misogyny and I don't know, aggression that even the men who join Marines are fucking pigs, okay? You know what I'm saying? I will go out on the road. I had a brother who tried to get in the Marines, all my brothers. I'm the only male in my family who didn't go in the military, but there was Navy, two Army, and another one who tried multiple times to get in the Marines, but he couldn't. They kept rejecting him, and now he's in prison. Okay, the one brother of mine who spent his young life trying to get in the Marines is now in prison for fucking sex crimes. So let me just tell you, anybody who goes in the Marines is like, you know, unless they're doing it because they have to, they're like, those are not like well-adjusted men that go into that branch of service. They're like really aggressive, like, you know, like, I don't know, dude, just killers, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And like, I mean, I'm not going to mince words there, but, you know, it's just, I don't know. So I don't, it's crazy, guys. And hear me out on this, okay? Because I've always had an issue with politicians because can I tell you, like, for some reason, men going into the military has always been respected among politicians. But I've always thought, like, God, we should have some people in government that would never go in the military, right? Like, we would have less war if everybody in our government were not military people. I just don't think that the military is healthy, really. I don't think that mindset. And, you know, I think it's like, I don't know, nationalist, warring, you know, hierarchy, power, like wielding power. I don't know. It's just not healthy. Healthy people don't go in the military. You know, I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to talk about Platner forever. I just, you know, I will say this though. I had some tweets that were getting out there today, guys, about this. Okay. Because, you know, in particular, it was this tweet, right? Because a lot of people weren't mentioning and is pretty crazy, guys. Okay. Because if we look at this, like, look at the people who were reposting me today, dude. Dude, Mehdi Hasan and Kyle reposted a couple of my tweets. There were some fucking, you know what I'm saying? There were some fucking people like that were resonating. And yeah, dude, Mehdi Hasan like retweeted me today talking about Platner. And I don't know, dude. It's like, I kind of feel like Mehdi Hasan is, you know, the fact that he's looking at this as a hit job. I feel like he's not, I don't know. I don't think he's a clown. You know what I'm saying? I think Mehdi Hasan is actually a pretty well thought out, aware guy, a gritty fucking journalist, okay? And somebody who knows the difference between a hit piece and reality. And so, I don't know, man. Dude, I don't know, you know? Right? It's like, so I thought that was pretty interesting, guys. When I saw that earlier today, I was like, oh shit, dude. Yeah, so time is gonna tell, right? But here though is Fetterman is fucking urging voters to choose Mills. These people trying to derail political campaigns with lies should be sued for slander. Let's go, Vince. All right, guys, I'm going to restart the fucking dance party so we can get that. We're going to move on to something less hot button, but I do want to close with this. Okay, guys, here's what I want to close with. I have voted since 1988. Okay, I voted in a lot of elections, guys. I voted against Bush. I voted for Clinton both times. I voted for Al Gore, right? I voted for Obama, okay? I voted for Hillary, and I voted for Joe Biden. I was not a Bernie bro, okay? I voted for Hillary in the primary, okay? Dude, I voted for Hillary in the primary. I voted for Hillary in the general election. Okay, in 2020, Kamala Harris was actually my favorite fucking candidate, and then she dropped out early. But Kamala Harris was the woman I wanted in 2020, and then she dropped out, and then it was Bernie and Joe Biden. I voted for Joe Biden. Okay, so now I'm a Democrat. I am not a far leftist. I have some leftist shit, but I did nurse some resentments with Bernie bros. I like Bernie Sanders. I just didn't think he'd make a good president. I didn't think he had any allies in Congress. I thought Bernie as president would be like Carter, like gridlock. And I wanted a woman president. And I thought Hillary would have been a good president. She would have nominated good people to the Supreme Court, guys. She really would have. Okay? She would have. She would have had enough allies to do some decent shit. And like everything she did wouldn't have gotten fought by everybody. Whereas Bernie would have had a lot of Democrats fighting him. Okay? Nobody would have like backed Bernie. I think the Republicans and Dems would have partnered up to try and like ostracize him in order to kill the idea of socialism. Okay? I think Bernie was he's a great warrior, but he was never like a friend maker in Congress. He was like more aggressive with everybody. But anyway, that was my decision making. Okay? Now, guys, I have watched the Republicans sink Democratic people. I watched them do it with Al Franken. Okay? I watched them recently do it with Tim fucking Walz. Okay? They're trying to do it with Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker. They did it with fucking, Dukakis. You know what I'm saying? Like, a long history. They tried to do it with Obama. I've watched a long history of Republicans creating some sort of morality chaos, and then the Democrats doing the dirty work for them and being like, oh, we pride ourselves on being squeaky clean. And then, but guess what, guys? When you have a bunch of squeaky clean, we pride ourselves on not ever getting into the muck, those people don't fight, okay? Like, sometimes imperfect guys that maybe have some warts that they've had to overcome and become a better human, sometimes those guys can be good fighters, okay? I have overcome drug addiction and an abusive father and sexual abuse and all kinds of shit that could have made me into somebody like Donald Trump. But I became somebody not like him because I'm a good fighter, okay? And so if I ran for office, they'd dig up all that negative shit about me, but overcoming that negative shit is part of the reason why I'm such a good fighter, okay? I'm not just some Ivy League fucking, oh, I've done everything perfect and I'm just a good boy all the time. No, I've been in the muck, okay? And like having been in the muck and having become better than being in the muck has made me like a certain type of, I have a grit that like, a lot of these Ivy League silver spoon guys don't have. Okay. And so I don't know, man. I don't fucking, I think I am not going to bury a candidate on an uncorroborated story by a Heritage Foundation employee, okay? I'm not going to do the Republicans' dirty work for them anymore. And I am not going to jettison somebody without serious, recent fucking allegations anymore when they seem like a fighter and they're like building a movement, That's kind of like how I feel, man. That's just how I feel. Now, can I show you the other thing that happened today, guys? Because like I said, Mehdi Hasan like retweeted me, but also look who else got in my shit, boss. It was Tyler Bowyer from TPUSA. Look at this idiot. Hold on. Look at this. Okay. So let's pivot to this, right? Because there's that YouTuber, this Jesse Ridgway. I don't know who this YouTuber is, but you may or may not have heard this story. But so a YouTuber and his wife got pregnant. She got pregnant and they did some tests and there was something about the Down syndrome gene, a test that came up and they like mulled it over and they just were like, we don't know if we could be like the parents of somebody with Down syndrome, or like with what they go through, if we would want to bring a human being in with Down syndrome and have that person struggle with all that shit. So they made a very difficult decision to not have that baby. Okay. And this is like stirring up a lot of controversy. Now, again, whether you agree or disagree, like, I mean, if you found out you were going to bring a human being into the world that maybe is going to suffer their whole life, if you choose to not take a chance on bringing that person in the world, I think that's a very difficult choice, but I could understand why people might want to make that choice. That, if they found that their baby potentially had a really troubling genetic disease, would they want to bring that kid into the world and have them struggle? I don't know. I mean, people are allowed to make those decisions, okay? Now, this has created a shitstorm, all right? This has created like a huge fucking shitstorm, all right? Where a lot of these Republicans have come in and started, chiming in on this. And so Tyler Bowyer came in here and said, I would adopt a Down syndrome baby tomorrow. He said, hoping I get that opportunity someday. This is too sad for me to even wrap my mind around. And so I replied, I said, really? Okay, so how many adopted kids do you have now? Right? Like, my guess is that Tyler Bowyer has 0 adopted kids. And in fact, you just been grifting money out of TPUSA. But like, all of these people who've said, oh, I'll adopt that baby, there's like 30,000 kids who need to be adopted right now. And none of these people are adopting any kids. They're literally just saying they would because they're trying to cop a moral high ground. And so I told him he's a piece of shit. And look at him, dude. He replied to me and then he got ratioed, okay? Because he went to my profile and he saw my shit about the assistant to the assistant regional manager at Antifa. And he replied to me, Antifa. Dude, what an idiot, bro. What an idiot. Isn't that funny? And I'm like, dude, I don't think this guy ever saw The Office. I just don't think this guy fucking is aware. But then he got ratioed. Dude, everybody was piling in on him. Dude, and I'm like, bro, homie never watched The Office, right? Everybody's in here saying like, dude, what's wrong with being anti-fascist? And everybody else was giving him shit. Dude, he got so hammered, bro. Dude, he responded to me and he just got ratioed in every possible way. Isn't that fucking wild, guys? Isn't that wild? Like, dude, that shit is crazy, boss. I thought that was so funny. Like, today was a day of like, I don't know, man. I believe we are existing in a different time, okay? Where like, there are going to be times when the imperfect, extremely human, warts and all person might be the thing we need, guys. Okay? I think fighters are necessary. I think people that are going to get in the muck and go to battle are fucking necessary right now. And I think in some instances, depending on the locale, we need people that are non-traditional. I mean, look who fucking won in New York City, man. A Muslim like DSA won in the city that watched the Twin Towers blow up, guys. That is significant, okay? think about that. Think about the way people, and I know you've heard Republicans say that, like, oh my God, right, they elected a Muslim in fucking the city, the Twin Towers. And it's like, you're fucking right, they did. Because this idea that we're bound by these weird, like, oh, because Saudi Arabia paid some money that contributed to a terrorist act, now we're gonna fucking abandon all Muslim people? No, fuck that. In fact, it is like, it's gonna be some Muslim people that help us fight Islamophobia. It's gonna be some Muslim people that help us fight against all the imperialism in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it's true, guys. I think sometimes there are like warts and all candidates that, you know, I don't know. I don't think we need a bunch of silver spoon Ivy League fucking, you know, like, I don't know. I think we need some working class, like, fucked up people, right? Like maybe a recovering PTSD veteran will fight for better care for veterans, and will fight for fucking healthcare and mental health care for America because he realizes how badly we all need it, you know? And I don't know, man. I feel like I'm evolving, you know? I feel like I'm evolving, dude. And yes, as soon as Mom Donnie showed up, there's like Nick Shirley showed up. And Nick Shirley like took out Tim Walz. Okay? Tim Walz was a good man, guys. And he got fucking taken out by the Democrat or by the Republican machine, dude. And so that's just it, right? Like we're not going to be able to have guys like Tim Walz compete on the national scale anymore because they get taken out by these fucking aggressive propagandizing degenerate, like stop at nothing people, you know? And I'm like, I fucking feel like we got to evolve a little bit, you know? All right, no, we're going to get a dance party, guys. Let me start another goal, all right? We're going to fucking, we need 25, but we'll do it. We'll try 20. We'll try and hit it, all right? There we go. We'll try it again. Sorry, I've been letting it go. You know, I just know this, that I'm telling you right now, if I do run for office, guys, they're going to attack me just like they're attacking Graham Platner. Okay? They're like 100%, guys. You know, they would go after me for the alcohol, the drug abuse, and the questionable relationships. In addition to, you know, some fucked up family dynamics. But, you know, they would. You know what I'm saying? They absolutely would, dude. Oh, yeah, the documentary. I know, dude. Oh, let's go. Kermit. All right. So anyway, we'll move on. I know we spent a lot of time on Graham Platner there, right? We spent a lot of time on him, but I don't know, dude. I just like really that today felt really fucking, I don't know, it felt really disingenuous. And it was really driving me crazy too, that every time a Democrat would fucking get on my shit and be like, how dare you like support this guy? I would go and look at their timelines and they were all like super Zionist-y, right? You know, and that was like really weird to me, guys, that like, why is it that all the Zionist Dems are trying to portray Platner as a Nazi when, like, I know that guy's not a fucking Nazi, okay? I know he's suspect and has a lot of issues, but I know for a fact that guy is not a fucking Nazi, boss. Okay? You know? Dude, and dude, Schumer endorsed Platner, guys. Schumer endorsed him. So I don't know, man, but it's going to get gnarly. But like, dude, it's crazy. All right. This is some crazy shit. Dude. Fucking wild, bro. I think though, dude, when are the Maine generals? So the Maine primary, all the generals are the same day in, you know, whatever, first Tuesday in November. But the Maine primary is Tuesday, guys. All right. The Maine primary is fucking Tuesday. Dude, what day is it? Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days. 5 days from now. Okay? This woman who supposedly last August, whatever, had all this information, she waited till 5 days before the primary to like do this New York Times article. Bro, there's no fucking way, dude. The Heritage Foundation woman. Give me a fucking break. 5 days. But his emails. 5 days, bro. Come on, punks. Let's go, Steph. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. Let's secure the dance party, guys. Dude, we got serious things. Let's secure the dance party. And then we're going to fucking... Then we're going to tear in some other shit. Dude, we have some other stuff to look at, guys. Dude, that Platner stuff really rubbed me the wrong way, dude. Dude, it did. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I like... Not just New York Times either. It's all over the place. I mean, dude, one thing I will say about this that is crazy is that there is a distinct, like, if you are not like a straight up Israel supporter, okay? If you are not a straight up Israel supporter, you get a fucking target on your back, guys. And it goes like, it's above party lines. I shit you not. That's the thing that I have noticed is like Republicans and Democrats that support Israel will combine forces to sink anybody who doesn't support Israel. Like they will support a Republican Israel supporter over a Democrat non-Israel supporter. And that is melting my mind. I mean, and I'm watching people like Brianna Wu, who is like, she will abandon transgender people and Democrats in order to just be like Israel more important than anything. And it is fucking blowing my mind. Okay? It is fucking blowing my mind. Like that shit is crazy, guys. It is like crazy how gnarly it is, you know? Yeah, I haven't really looked into the Hasan stuff, right? I don't really follow that gossip. I've seen that they're gossiping. I've seen some shit on Instagram, but I know they're going after Hasan because they're trying to go after, right? Because obviously with Rab, right? The guy from fucking Philadelphia, Chris Rabb, and then the dude who just won the primary in Jersey and Abdul El Sayed, they're like they're trying to nuke Hasan's credibility. Yeah, Hamawi, exactly. They're trying to nuke Hasan's credibility because he's actually helping people, so they're fucking right. They're like, trying to slander him because Hasan is elevating some names that are winning, I mean, they're like, it's crazy. It is fucking crazy, guys. I don't know, dude. I know he's a progressive. Dude, I know these people are progressives. I know they're good people. I'm just saying why they're attacking Hasan. They're attacking Hasan because he's leveraging his clout to help people acquire political power, and that is really threatening some people because dude, when you have people like Zohran Mamdani winning in New York City, people are getting worried because all it's going to take is some progressives having success for the rest of the country to want a lot of fucking progressives. You know what I'm saying? Like literally seeing Mamdani succeed in New York City is going to make a whole bunch of people be like, fuck, bro, we need to elect more people like Mamdani. And that's going to bother all those fucking AIPAC funded candidates, guys. And I will be honest, seeing AIPAC post after the primaries, after they spend like $20 million, is like fucking bothers me, boss. Getting major retweets, manifesting future collabs. Let's go, Drea. We're going to have some collabs. I know it. I know, dude. Shit, we're growing, guys. We are. That fucking blow up on Instagram, and now we're getting some retweets. Like, shit's gonna happen. But let me just tell you guys, okay, that seeing AIPAC bragging about like Israel being good policy after they spend like $20 million to defeat quality candidates, and they're bragging about it on Twitter, that shit rubbed me the wrong way, because it's like, why the fuck are you saying that like supporting some other country is good politics here in America? Like, I get the idea of helping those less fortunate than us, but like, dude, Israel is not less fortunate than us. They have healthcare, bro. They have like a well-stocked military. They have like, they're like taking land and shit. They're out there behaving like goddamn Vladimir Putin. And you're telling me that like being their like good buddy is good politics here while we're living on the fucking street? Like, fuck that, bro. That's some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's fucking bullshit. Dude, Serene, let's go. So, I don't know, dude. I mean, I've been getting more and more left as I grow old, but like, it's like AIPAC shit and the Heritage Foundation woman, like they're just gonna make me more leftist, You know what I mean? It's fucking, I don't know, dude. All right, dude, we need 28 guys. Or, 18. Let's go. We need 18, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get this dance party, guys. Come on. Dude, yeah. I mean, dude, for me, it's like, you know, for me, I feel like the Christian Zionists are the most dangerous ones, guys. Dude, Jay's Beers, let's go, baby. Thank you. Dude, I'm serious. I think the Christian Zionists are like the number one problem here. These fucking raptures and shit. It was 2, then you added 1. Yes, Serene, it only counts super chats and not it doesn't count the stickers. The counter is only super chats only. YouTube won't let it count the stickers too, right? It's not a Scottish kilt. Dude, these are my punk plaid, boss. Dude, Jay Beers, 5 memberships. Let's go, baby. Dude, welcome to the new members, dude. Money has power, but this exchange rate is gonna kill me, dude. Let's go, Froggy. Dude, Australia, we got shrimp on the barbie. Dude, we got Jay-Z in the house, dude. Jay's. Dude, thank you, Froggy. Dude, Jay-Z dropping 5 subs, 5 memberships. Shin Godzilla, shut up and dance, not directed at you, boss. Let's go. Dude, my place is to shut up and dance. Thank you, Jay-Z Beers. We appreciate you, boss. Dude, my allergies are all fucked up. I'm serious. And today, I spent my whole day, like, getting Ubered around the city because I had to get a car, like, an airbag recall. And it took, like, 5 hours. And then they couldn't get me an Uber back to the thing. And they're like, dude, I had a fucking day. Dude, and I didn't complain, but I rode with an Uber driver today, guys, that I was getting like, he was like tailgating the shit out of people and like racing up on the freeway to stop cars and slamming on his brakes. Dude, and I am an aggressive LA driver, and this guy was like scaring the shit out of me, bro. I was like holding on to the fucking, you know, in that car like you could not believe. Dude, it was wild. He was like, it was the scariest fucking ride I've ever taken in a car, dude. I mean, just literally racing up. I would see him race up and I would be like, oh my God, I have to look out the window. I'm looking on Twitter. It was crazy. And I didn't fucking, I'm not going to report anything. You know, I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not crazy fucking Karen like that, but I was like, holy shit, dude. Dude, if I ever see that guy's name come up, I'm going to fucking cancel the Uber. You know? You may have seen one of my tweets. Nah, I don't think so. Dude, I did. He seemed particularly like perturbed by the freeway traffic. So I did give him a bit of advice because there are a couple interchanges in Portland that if you know which lane to be in and when to switch, you can navigate without getting stuck in the traffic. Like I used to drive the I-5 here every day, taking my kid to school. So I know how to like avoid these problematic interchanges. And finally, I'm like, you know what? Let me help you out here. And then I told him what to do so he wouldn't be like on someone's ass the whole time. And that made it a little better. But all right, guys, dude, we need 16 more, baby. Let's go. 13, 16 more. Let's get it. Let's get it. Dude, it was crazy though. I'd never been in somebody who drove. I was like, man, I was kind of like, I was surprised that, you know, he was really like putting it out there. Jared knew Epstein. Dude, I think Jared and Kushner and like, dude, he's very problematic. The whole Kushner family, dude, his dad's a crook and they're tight with Netanyahu and they took $2 billion to let Saudi Arabia murder a fucking journalist. Like Jared Kushner is like as bad as Epstein. He's certainly like fine with being in business partners with fucking killers, and he would sell your entire family into slavery for like a fucking $500,000. Dude, he's a scumbag, dude. Dude, you could even see his daughter too. Like when you see him and Ivanka, their daughter looks like she wants out of that family. Remember the one that Trump was trying to grab her hand and she was like, the fuck away from me? Dude, fuck Jared Kushner. He's one of those people though, where he seems like squeaky clean, but you're like, nah, dude, that guy is fucking, is a degenerate. Dude, Elf, BAMF dance party, let's go, Elf! Dude, we need this. Dude, we need this dance party, guys. 2 hours of Platner and fucking, dude, today we had a big day. We had like the Mehdi Hasan retweet. We had Tyler Bowyer getting multiple ratios after he replied to me because he's a jackhole. And, you ready? Let me take you to something else, guys. Look at Jenny's million her million thing is now at 1.5 million, guys. Look at that. 1.5 million for Jenny's fucking incredible short there. Isn't that wild? Dude, 1.5 milli. Isn't that's amazing? And 𝗙𝗍𝗃 is back, right? 𝗙𝗍𝗃 came back after we brawled. Me and 𝗙𝗍𝗃 brawled. Dude, let's go. Oh, shit. All right, guys. Dude, we need 15 more. 15 in 11 minutes. Let's get this. But look at this, dude. Serene says, F them all. We are the power source. Yes, Serene. But look at this, guys. Look at the latest on the LA election. Look at who's creeping up, dude. Dude, Nithya was almost 50,000 votes down. She's only 33,000 away. And Karen Bass has opened up her lead, and it's 64% of the votes in. Dude, I almost guarantee you Nithya is going to win this. There's a Crazy Taxi reference here, dude. Let's go. Crazy Taxi. Thank you, Drea. Dude, I think Nithya is going to win it, and I think Spencer Pratt knows this, which is why he keeps posting about God, right? Have you seen all of Spencer Pratt's tweets? Dude, Spencer Pratt keeps taking pictures of himself in a church. And I'm like, dude, give me a break, bro. Give me a break. How can you brawl in timeout? Touche, boss. Touche. All right. And let's look at California governor. Governor Becerra is about to overtake Hilton. 60% of the votes in. I still think Steyer can overtake Hilton too. Dude, let's dance. Thank you, Elf. Let's go. 12 away. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 sec. Give me 1 minute here. Dude, I have some nose hairs going crazy. Yeah, for this one, 40% of the votes means there's like probably almost 4 million votes left in California, right? In the governor. And here, there's probably another 400,000 votes. And so I think Pratt is going to be gone. All right, guys, where are we at? Guys, we need 12 in 8 minutes, okay? We need a few more than that, but let's just get the 20 here first. So we're 12 away. We're almost there. We're going to count Serene's sticker, so we need to get these 12, though. Let's fucking secure this dance party, baby. There we go. Tommy needs to dance. I do. Dude, let's go, Elf. We do. Shin Godzilla, let's go, baby. Let's go. Yeah, so anyway, though, if you look at this shit with Pratt, right? So Pratt has been like, dude, look at him. He's tweeting God always wins. Dude, that's what he's tweeting. He blocked me too because he's a fucking degenerate. But so he's tweeting God always wins, and then he's tweeting this shit on Instagram with him standing in a fucking church, bro. Dude, this guy is like, does not go to church at all, dude. There's no fucking way. He's like filming himself bone his girlfriend in the pews, maybe. But like he's posting, oh, God always wins. Give me a break, dude. Dude, yeah, that's all of us right there just waiting for him to be in third place and to be gone so we don't have to see his swollen fucking face anymore. But look at him, dude. Will he win the mayoral election, dude? Look at him. Dude, he is like all the way down. Bro, probably an AI photo. Probably. I mean, you don't even know if that's him, dude. That could be anybody, bro. He's not even showing his face. But all the Republicans, like this guy, first off, we know that Johnny MAGA, this guy is a White House worker right here. Johnny MAGA is. This ain't a fucking Johnny MAGA account. This is a Trump operative, one of Trump's communications people with this fake account, pretending like he's some random MAGA voice. And look at this. Pratt posted this as his nearly double-digit lead to make the runoff in mayoral races slipping away due to, quote, late mail-in ballots. Yeah, there's nothing like a Trump White House communications person tweeting implied election rigging to support Spencer Pratt from an anonymous account that, like, he's pretending like he's some random dude. Why do I think he will be overtaken? So Jibs, there's a couple reasons why I think he's going to be overtaken. All right, so number one is that most of all the basically red, predominantly red parts of LA have already been counted. Okay? Right? All of the red sort of like smaller enclaves in the city of Los Angeles have been counted, right? And the early mail-in ballots, if you look at California elections, it's usually traditionally has always been split where all the like 90% of everyone in LA uses mail-in. So anybody that was like red voting booth has already been added into this total. And then the early mail-in ballots in California are usually almost always skew huge Republican. And the late mail-in ballots usually skew huge Dem. So it is based on historical voting patterns that you know, the early mail-ins are almost always all Republican voters. So he is like kind of tapped out, I think. That's just it. Like he had this crazy big showing, but I think his ceiling is like 2 inches above his head. Dude, please let us relax and enjoy a dance party. Yes, Elf. Dude, Drea Parrott coming in again. Let's go. All right, guys. 8 more, baby. 8 more. Let's go. There's a sample. Dude, let's go. You hope a bunch of chuds lose money. He's also, if you look at him, right? You look at this guy. Do you know where he was campaigning, guys? He was spent most of his time campaigning in Beverly Hills. Well, what is Beverly Hills, guys? It's not the city of Los Angeles. Isn't that weird? Why is the mayor of Los Angeles campaigning in Beverly Hills and getting all his money from Beverly Hills and Bel Air, right? Oh, I wonder why. Because he's, you know, a fucking, like a wealth suck up, a Trump fucking, you know, Richie Rich billionaire's best buddy kind of guy. And he's like uber Zionist and he's uber, fucking, you know, like the shitty part of the TV industry. Reality TV is like, it is super toxic, dude. The reality TV world, it's all like fucking, the reality TV world is all like skanky, MAGA-y kind of, you know, grifters. Reality TV personalities are mostly grifters. 2 minutes, guys. Let's go. We need 8 in 2 minutes. Let's go. Let's get this. Dude, let's go do Sean. Do we want Miss Ramen to win? I mean, dude, I think Ramen Nithya would be great, right? I think, you know, I don't think Karen Bass is terrible. I think, you know, I think she does have some problems, though, with like not acknowledging the struggles. I think her trying to portray that, oh, everything's working great here. No, they're definitely having some struggles. I mean, all cities are post-pandemic, right? Right? Let's go. Let's go, guys. A minute and a half, baby. Dude, all right. LF, go. Let's go, Steph. Dude, let's get pure LGBTQ. All right. I don't know what that means, Alf, but I'm down. Dude, I like pure LGBTQ. Let's go. 6 remain. 6 more, guys. 6, 6, 6. 5 more, dude. Drea, let's go. Dude, we got fucking Steph, Elf, and Drea are like quarterbacking tonight. Let's get it. Little Paula, 1 minute, guys. Hey! 5 away. 5 away, baby. 1 minute. 1 minute, 5 away. Dance, 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 dance. Right? Dance. We're going to get this, boss. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. 5, 5, 5. We're going into bonus time. I'm not moving on until we secure the dance party, dude. We're going to get the bonus time. 1 minute timer, dude. We're going to pause this. I've become a new monthly expense. Oh, shit. Dude, let's go, Drea. I've run out of witty stuff to say. We got you, though, Drea. That's all right. You got this. I'll bring the wits. Oh, shit. OT coming up. 6, 5, 4, 3. All right. Now we're in OT, guys. Okay, just so you know. We were 8 away. Now we're 7 away because I'm including the 4 that we needed from the first round. Okay, so now we're 7 away with Shin Godzilla right here. All right, we're in extra innings now. 7 away, and that includes Serene's sticker. Okay, I'm including the sticker in that too. So now we got fucking that counted. So now let's go. Let's get it. We're into overtime. 7, dance party incoming. Dude, let's go. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate that. Right? Don't put yourself out, though. Like, make sure you're, like, making ends meet. You know what I mean? I mean, I appreciate the support, but I don't want anyone, like, you know, sacrificing their own ability to survive to help me. You know what I'm saying? Like, only do it if you can do it comfortably. Okay? That's all I want to, like, be clear about. You know? Because it's rough out there. And so I want to make sure that, all right, good. I want to make sure that you guys are like taking care of yourselves first. You know? You know what I mean? All right, here we go. Dude, we're 7 away, guys. I'm going to do a 5-minute timer. All right? Oh, I guess 6-minute timer. Hold on. We're going to reset it. We're going to fucking, oh, fuck, bro. 1-minute timer. And we're going to 3-minute timer. Let's go. 3 minutes. 7 away, guys. Dude, I'm so tired. It's been such a fucking long day. It has, dude. What a day of fucking hell, boss. But we got through it. At least I'm not Spencer Pratt. Okay? Dude, he's getting slammed, going down for the love right? Dude, he is, right? This was the latest, like, you know, Nithya, see, you're seeing that Karen Bass and Nithya are getting almost double what Pratt was. What did I do today? Today I had to, like, drive across town twice to take care of a car, getting serviced and getting an airbag fucking, like an airbag, whatever recall thing taken care of. Let's go, El Paula! Hey! 6 away, guys! 6 away. Let's go. Is ahead of Pratt? No, she's not ahead yet. She was ahead from the votes today. That was just today. This is votes they counted today of 30,000 votes, and Nithya and Karen Bass took a significant higher percentage of. So this is like some of these mail-ins that are coming in. So we're seeing that they're like basically 2xing Pratt with all the late incoming, like, you know, Dem mail-in ballots, which means when you extrapolate it over the remaining 350,000, it looks like she's going to overtake him. Let's go. I'm sorting out gardening stuff, but listening. Let's go, Korg. All right, guys, that's 5 away, guys. 5 away. Let's get this. Let's go. Might be good to let it go. No, we're fucking, we live and die on the dance party, boss. I think people like the dance party. So we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We are determined. 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗪𝗧. Let's go. I think there's a really good chance it's going to be a runoff between Bass and Nithya. Okay? Dude, Jess. Let's go, Jess. Thank you for the membership. I think there's a really good chance. And I do still think Steyer can overtake Hilton as well. Becerra's going to overtake Hilton by a long shot. But I think Steyer might end up being Becerra-Steyer too. I mean, it's like 7 percentage points. There's like 400,000, but there's like 4 million votes incoming. There's a real good chance that he's going to lose. All right, guys. 5 away. Does that count? That is beautiful, Jess. Let's go. Dude, your phone got hacked. That sucks. Hold on. I'm resetting. We will get it. And then what do we have coming up next? Right? Up next, we've got, we're going to talk about the Rogan rumors. And then I want to look at Trump and that fucking Jaxson Dart stuff. And then I do want to talk about a little bit of Epstein stuff. Dude, Tata to the Night Owl crew. Let's dance. Let's go, guys. 4 away. All right. This is it. Final 2 minutes. 4 away. Last 4. Let's get this. We got this. We got it. And then there were 4, baby. 3 away. Elf said, if you think that I gave your son a hockey jersey, you should know that I can provide. I don't have any kids. Let's go. Dude, Elf, you're a badass, boss. I appreciate you so much. Let's go, dude. 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗪𝗧. 3 away, guys. 3. 2 minutes. Final 3. Boom. There it is. Dude, we got this. Dude, yeah, he's really excited about, like, the Islanders and shit. Bryce is. Dude, the Mariners fucking, dude, they won 8 in a row, but boy, did they play like shit in that last one. But, fuck it. Dude, the Mets, I don't hate the Mets, dude. The Mets needed to have a game, dude. They were just getting brawled on. 3 away, guys. Let's go. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Dude, this is like, we shall dance. We shall dance. We shall dance. 2 𝗪𝗏𝗪. Let's go. 2 away, guys. We got this. Dose. 40 seconds. I'm not going into overtime, though. This is it. This is the last 30 seconds. And then we got to move on. I got to go make some. So we fucking 2 away, baby. 2 away. Here we go. Here we go. I do have to, like, do some newsworthy stuff. Dude, Shin Godzilla 1 away. And there it is. Elf, please make this happen, dude. We did it. Let's go. We got it. Look at that with 15 seconds to spare. Dude, see? Fucking let's go. Bada bing, baby. Dude, we made it. Dude, one more Paula. Paula! Sakatara. Dude, let's go. All right, here we go. Dude, look at this. Look at Trump, though. Look at his shit, right? Because, of course, we had Trump's communication person on the Johnny MAGA account spreading propaganda and this fucking Spencer Pratt in church bullshit. And what is Trump doing? Watch California, everybody. Our election process is as bad or worse than any third world country. The biggest difference is they count their votes much faster. They don't wait 7 days to tell you who won, rigging the election during each and every one of them. Americans are ashamed of what is happening. President Donald J. Trump. But guys, this is bullshit because here's the deal, man. Mail-in ballots have to be postmarked by election day, and then there's a grace period. Dude, we've all done that. When your shit had to be postmarked by a certain day, if you're entering a contest, or if you're writing your fucking letter, sent in my UCLA application, it had to be postmarked by a certain day. That doesn't mean that the day of the postmark, they fucking close their mailbox. Give me a break, dude. And Trump is voted by mail in like every election but one. Okay? Dude, we need someone else? Let's go! Dude, we need someone else for what, Elf? For president? Dude, you thought he couldn't vote? Yeah, well, no, he shouldn't be able to vote because he's a fucking convicted felon, right? But I think he's still appealing it or something, right? I think it's because of his appeals or whatever. But dude, fuck this guy, bro. Right? And then here they are.
It's been 3 days since California ran its funky jungle primary. We still don't know anything. The governor's race is stuck at only 50. Well, now it just went up to 57% of ballots counted. LA mayor, 66% counted. Well, it says 62 there. I guess maybe they updated it a little bit, but no one is in a rush. They're just going to slow walk a winner. That doesn't create trust.
Dude, no.
It's insane.
Here's the deal. We're going to know by like next Wednesday, guys. Okay? By next Wednesday, we'll know who won the election. And it's fucking like that, dude. It has been like that in every election, guys. They get postmarked by election day. And then 90% of the people use mail-in ballots. And so voila. Give me a fucking break. Dude, look at this guy, though. What an egghead.
This election system that they've created here is just another monument to their uselessness, another version of high-speed rail. The whole thing is insane. I mean, the fact that you're sending out...
Dude, this guy's not even from California, bro. Give me a fucking break, dude.
Mail ballots to every single person on a voting roll that is wildly inaccurate. The whole thing is a joke, just like pretty much everything else they try and do here.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a mystery.
Oh, yeah, but you, 5'2" bald guy who's not even from fucking California, right? Fox News fucking knob polisher. You're not a joke, right? Yo, political punk here. All right, you got to help me out. What is up with the bald weasel? He's like 5'2". Why is this guy even in the race? Everybody knows he's never going to be governor. Dude, I could take a human shit and put a D on it and it would win an election before this guy. What are we doing? Why is this guy even wasting our time? Did you see his campaign promises? Yo, Hilton. Hey, get on the phone, Hilton. Come here, you weasel. Dude, you're telling people you're going to cut their energy bills in half? You're fucking shitting me, right? We all literally just watched Donald Trump promise that, and now I had to like sell my son's fucking hemoglobin to fucking to pay his goddamn electricity bill. What are you talking about, dude? My son is curled up like a husk. Dude, he looks like a fucking spider's exoskeleton curled up under an Afghan. You fucking piece of shit. Dude, and you're now promising, oh yeah, half-price electricity bills. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. And what else did you say we're gonna get? Oh, they're like tax-free, 100K tax-free. You're gonna cut all the gas taxes. So how the hell is California gonna pay any of their bills, bro? What are you gonna put a fucking, you know, a what do you call it? A collection plate out? Are you gonna walk around the streets with a pumpkin head trying to get money? How are you gonna pay for shit? Right? What are you gonna do? You waiting for Donald Trump to come and write you a check? You ugly motherfucker. Dude, shut the fuck up. You're never gonna be governor. All right? All right. Talk to you later. Fuck you. Bye-bye. Jesus. Dude, look at him. Your girlfriend was never a U.S. citizen, but she knows about politics. She hates everything because she's from Australia. Shrimp on the barbie. Let's go, Elf's Australian girlfriend. Let's fucking go. Put a shrimp on the barbie. Dude, these guys are clowns, dude. What do we got here? All right, what does this guy do? Look at this
the election, and they still count.
Why does it take so long to count ballots in California compared to other states? 80% of voters return their ballots by mail. Each one of them has to go through a signature verification process. If there's a problem in the signature verification process, then you're alerted and you have 10 days to fix that process to come what's called cure your ballot.
See, this is what's so crazy is, guys, this is why it's like so effective. I mean, they do the same thing in Oregon. My son, he registered to vote in high school, and 2 years later, he voted, and his signature didn't match because his voting, right? It was 2 years out of high school. He signed his name a little differently because he was an adult now, and they flagged it. And he had to go then prove his identity with an ID because of that signature fucking change. They are like so careful, guys. And it literally took him like 15 days to get his ballot approved. And he had to show them his ID. And so, dude, it is so secure. And they make it seem like, oh, this is cheating going on. Dude, it's way more secure than just showing up. Like anybody could make a fake ID, guys. Okay, I had a fake ID. You know how easy it is to make a fake ID, to show someone an ID and show up and have a name on a fucking voter roll or a paper ballot? How easy it is to like cheat on paper ballots, something that doesn't require a signature and all that shit? Give me a fucking break, dude.
All that takes time. Eventually, all those ballots come here where they are officially counted.
Then the local registrars gum up a bit worse. They're not required to release daily updates. So each county releases results whenever they feel like it. There's no real deadline to finish the count or to tell people what the votes are. They have about a month to finish, And in the last 24 hours, only 3% more of the vote came in. Florida tallies 8 million ballots before bedtime. California can't even count a single city in a week.
Yeah, but Florida fucking also like disenfranchises huge amounts of voters, and they literally fucking stole an election, right? George Bush's buddy. Dude, Florida's a shithole, bro. Fuck Florida. Dude, he is such a degenerate, this guy. Dude, Florida, like, they throw shit out. They disenfranchise. You know what Florida did, guys? Florida voters voted on an amendment that would allow felons to get their fucking their voting rights back after they serve their time. And after the citizens of Florida approved giving voting rights back to felons who had completed their time, the Florida government changed the rules and said, oh, well, now they have to pay financial restitution too. And if they haven't paid their financial restitution, they can't do their votes anymore. And so after the people voted on it, the legislators like backdoored it. That's what Florida does, dude. They overturn the will of the voters with their scandalous behavior, bro. It is some horse shit.
What Gavin Newsom has done here is a national embarrassment.
I had a whistleblower that contacted me from a post office describing that they had different buckets they were supposed to put the ballots in after they come in after election day, and they were explicitly told that it didn't just have to be a postmark that was on or before election day that qualified. If the date was handwritten, that would be okay as well.
Dude, look at him. All right, where's your whistleblower, buddy? Bring him out. Why is your whistleblower not on the show there, buddy? You've got a whistleblower? Well, guess what, Hilton? I've got a whistleblower. I have a whistleblower in the other room that says you guys are full of shit, okay? Wait, I'm getting a phone call right now. Hello? Hey, dude, it's a whistleblower. Oh, what's up? The political punk here. Nice to talk to you, whistleblower. What do you want to tell us? All right, my whistleblower says that Steve Hilton is lying through his teeth. And what else? My whistleblower says Spencer Pratt is also lying, that they're all bullshit. They're funded by Elon Musk. Okay? They're fucking con men. And yep, and then Nick Shirley gives them both hand jobs. All right, thank you, whistleblower. All right, appreciate you. Fuck off. Bye-bye. So, I mean, I'm sorry, Steve. I got a whistleblower too, boss.
Handwritten. So your ballot counts if someone just scribbles a date on it? No postmark, no proof, nothing. Now, if that's true, we are in deep trouble. California just takes their word for it. The whole system's a python that swallowed a pig.
Dude, the whole system's a python that swallowed a pig. Dude, what does that even mean, bro? A python that swallowed a pig. Dude, by the way, we should note before we move on here that this guy, Jesse Watters, this guy wanted to date somebody he worked with. So he let the tire out of her air. He let the air out of her tires so she wouldn't be able to drive. So he could swoop in and your fucking tires are out of air. Oh shit, that sucks. Here, I'll drive you home. Dude, this guy, creeper, manipulator, Ted Bundy wannabe, fucking weird pederast, fucking, predator, rapist behavior. This guy, right? And I think, didn't he marry her? Isn't that how he met his wife? Like, what the fuck, dude? Dude, oh, he was married at the time. Yeah, all right. So he was cheating too. What a dick. Dude, he is a scumbag, dude. Total predator. All right. All right, guys, moving on. So, if you're a convicted felon and serve time, I would allow you to vote, but not own any firearm. I'm sorry if it's a drug problem. Let's go! Dude, thank you, Elf. Yeah, dude, I would be totally down with convicted felons not being able to have guns after that. Right? Dude, let's go. Dude, it's completely unacceptable. Dude, fuck you, Hilton. Right? Dude, Steve Hilton can eat a bowl, dude. Dude, look at them. They are shitting themselves, boss. Right? They are shitting over this. Dude. Think people charged with espionage shouldn't be able to be president? Dude, I don't think convicted felons should be able to be president. Okay? That should be, a relative no-brainer, don't you think? That no convicted felons for fucking president? But look at this, dude. Spencer, who will advance? Pratt's odds are now 26%. Nithya is 80%. I said this from the very beginning. On the first night, I said I thought Nithya was going to overcome that disappearance. Because that was just it, guys. The only way Spencer was going to make it into round 2, it would have been if he had like 40% of the votes on that first day. He would have needed like 42%. I mean, dude, it's just so crazy. Like, LA is so blue, okay? LA County, Donald Trump, who won over a lot of Hispanic people, had a bunch of young white men out there voting. Donald Trump got 31% of LA County against Kamala Harris, dude. Like, bro, it's just nobody there was going to vote for a reality TV star with no qualifications, mini Donald Trump with a Trump endorsement, while a reality TV star was literally screwing the entire world, got us in a war, blew every promise he had, right? There was just no way. You know what I'm saying? There was no way that Pratt, I mean, I posted about it today, guys, and here's what I posted, okay? Literally, right here, where I said, the funniest thing so far, to me, the funniest thing in 2026 was MAGA thinking that this guy was going to be the mayor of LA. I mean, they do this all the time. They do, like they said they were going to win New Jersey governor. They thought they were going to win in fucking, New York's going to be red. It's like, bro, there's no way. Look at him, dude. Look at this guy. This guy, like, dude, this guy needs to be shown the door, okay? And dude, I mean, sure, he can shuck and jive and get in front of a camera and talk a big game, of course. He's a reality TV star. But, dude, he is a fucking joke, boss. Okay? Dude, Fish concert 𝗙𝗍𝗍𝗄. You know? Oh, shit, dude. Dude, yeah, no, the way he talks about homeless people is fully disqualifying. Like, he talks about homeless people like they're pieces of shit that need to be, like, euthanized, you know? I mean, he's right up there with that Fox News asshole, Remember the one who was like saying, let's euthanize the homeless? Like, give me a fucking break, dude. All right. Are you ready? Moving on, baby. Let's go to Trump and Mr. Dart, okay? All right. Oh my God, dude. You ready? All right, so let's just set the tone here, guys. All right. So we're in a war that we can't seem to get out of. The other side doesn't want to negotiate with us. Gas prices have gone through the roof. They've kicked people off of healthcare. They've kicked people off SNAP. Our electricity bills have gone up instead of down. They withheld half of the Epstein files. Trump's personal attorney is now running the DOJ. Half of his appointments right now are like people who didn't get confirmed by the Senate. He has like acting secretaries again in like a whole bunch of his cabinet positions. They've removed protections on our groundwater and environmental shit. Prices, I just went to the grocery store. Prices are like through the roof, dude. It's like $20 for a fucking simple steak. We're getting killed. We're just getting ravaged. And now the president, what is his plan to get us out of this mess? All right, here we go.
I just had this done. You're getting a first glimpse, but that's your size compared. So those are compared to, those are among the tallest buildings in the world, including the Empire State Building, World Trade Center, Sears Tower, Chicago.
Huh.
So if you lay it on its side, you take 2 or 3 of them to fill it in, because the width is almost 200 feet wide. I just had this done.
So our president, in addition to making 4,000 stock trades of all the companies who legislation he's approving, instead of him like coming up, remember when we were getting a healthcare plan in 2 weeks? 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Instead of any of that, no health care, no fucking, no job help, no like financial help, no inflation curbing, no nothing to end the war. He is showing us a chart that says the reflecting pool is longer than some of the tall buildings in America. Dude, my son can't find a job right now in New York City. Am I supposed to like send my kid this chart and he can show it to his landlord when it's time to pay rent? Like, hey, I know I don't have any rent, but have you heard about the reflecting pool? Do you know it's bigger than One World Trade Center? Dude, this is what the president is doing, bro. Nothing. He is doing nothing, guys. And then you see this one? Look at him today, dude.
Of a job, an economy, a community, a family. And for too long,
dude,
of a job, an economy, a community, a family. And for
he's fucking asleep, bro. Yo, I do have a question for you though. Is this, I've been hearing a lot about this sleepy Joe Biden. Is this the sleepy Joe Biden we've been hearing everything about that they're always talking about? Is this him? Dude, what the fuck, bro? He stays up all night like on Twitter or some shit. He can't even stay awake. Dude,
of warmth, of a job, an economy, a community, a family.
Here's a longer
and
one.
For too long, you saw Democrats who were telling these coal miners that they should just learn to code. And what we saw during the Biden administration at the EPA, for example, was regulation after regulation after regulation, trying to strangulate out of existence.
Dude. And in the year of our climate change, 2026, when we're getting ravaged by climate, storms, heat waves, hurricanes. You can't even insure a house anymore in Florida. You can barely insure a house in California because of the fires. And what are they doing? They've cut down all the solar. They've cut down all the wind. Their $700 million coal plant. They're going back to the turn of the century energy. Right? Like, wow. Coal. Dude. Okay. Dude, I mean, let's just go back to like let's make some wood burning cars, why don't you? Okay? We can just drive around with a trailer full of firewood attached to our vehicles, and we can put like hunks of wood in there. We can have a nice furnace fueled fucking car with just the wood smoke pouring out of the back, right? Let's go. I'm going to have a shovel and like a cord of wood in a trailer behind my fucking car, dude. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got to pull over. Let me fucking shovel some... Dude. Idiots. Dude, are those Trump's pallbearers behind him? Dude, they are. Now, I do want to say one thing, though, dude. I'm glad that some of these guys, when you look at, like, I will say this, the fact that we've got LGBTQ members of the community here backing him up during Pride Month. Dude, these two guys have skipped their grinder luncheon to come support Trump during Pride Month. Dude, these two guys are future like well-known members of our LGBTQ community. Dude, I mean, I'm telling you, boss. Dude, look at this guy. Who the fuck is this guy, bro? Dude, who is this guy? Oh, not a top in sight. Dude, it is crazy. Dude, this guy, he got his hair at the Lego store, boss. He went into the Lego store and said, "What's the flattest, whitest hair you've got? Okay, I want something flat. Like, I want this shit to be like the chest of the women that Trump is interested in. I want it to be flat." That's what they gave him, dude. The newspaper Lego hair. Oh my God, dude. What is he wearing? I looked at that and I thought, like, is this guy wearing a swim cap? I was a swimmer. I thought he was wearing a swim cap at first. I was like, yo, did homie forget to take his cap off after he got out of the Capitol pool or what, dude? What are we doing? Jesus criminy, boss. All right. Oh my God, dude. All right. Now we got to go to Rupar for a minute, though, because I do want to look at this. Oh, here it is. Okay. Because, guys, you ready? I was a little impressed by this. Okay? I was. What I'm about to show you. Okay? I'm a little impressed by this, and let me tell you why. Because I don't get impressed by Trump often. I really don't. But Donald Trump, he's a part of the MAGA, part of the, the extreme Republican Party. They've been really like anti-trans, really shitty, kind of going after gay marriage and shit. These guys. But like Donald Trump is Pride Monthing like I have not seen a president recently. Trump is seriously Pride Monthing. You ready? Let's watch.
The quarterback, Jaxson, is the quarterback for the Giants. He's a big, strong guy. And I said, "How do you think you do in women's sports, Jaxson?" He said, "Pretty good, sir." He didn't know I was joking. He was not worried, so let me put it that way. He would have been the greatest athlete in the history of women's sports. You got to see the size of this guy. Like a male model, and he's going to be a great quarterback.
Like a male model. Dude, like a male model, guys. Look at that. He's Pride Monthing. He has been talking about how good looking Jaxson Dart is. Big, strong, like a male model. I mean, we're just literally one step away from like the penis reference. Like, I'm wondering at this point, has Jaxson Dart been sending Trumpy some pics or what? Right? Or is he going to Arnold Palmer this kid or what? Elf says, I love building Lego bricks. Don't judge me. I won't judge you. I love Legos too. Dude, if we look at Trump and Dart, this has been a recurring theme with Trump. Okay?
Well, first of all, I wish I looked just like Jaxson. This is a guy. I said, is he a male model or what? He's a handsome guy, like a beautiful guy. And a
beautiful guy.
Conservative guy. He said, I love you, sir. So when Jaxson gets
I love you, sir.
harassed a little bit, he's also loved more because we have more people than they do. And a lot of the people that you think, like people in Los Angeles, wealthy people that I see them all the time, they're hitting me a little bit. And they meet me and they said, sir, I voted for you.
Oh, yeah.
Joining me now.
Oh, yeah, that real believable, right? I mean, we know some wealthy people in Hollywood voted for him. Of course, they voted for the tax cut, right? There are wealth Republicans, Democrats that vote for Republicans because of the money, right? But dude, again, beautiful, ravishing, male model, Jaxson Dart, so beautiful. Now, I would like to add that Donald Trump here is being interviewed by his fucking daughter-in-law. Hello? I mean, is that a conflict of interest that the person interviewing the president is his fucking family? But holy shit, dude. He's got a thing. He loves Jaxson. You should have seen the size of this guy. I love this guy. So, dude, he's Pride Monthing, okay? Trump is Pride Monthing pretty hard, dude. Look at him.
Male model or what? He's a handsome guy.
Oh, are you a male model? Oh, Jaxson. Oh, Trumpy's like, I want Jaxson to come over. I want Jaxson. Oh, Trumpy. Dude, Trumpy, do you want Jaxson? Or do you want Arnold Palmer? Dude, he loves him. He is enamored by Jaxson. I think that's pretty funny. Here we go.
This back. We wouldn't have missed this. This is great. And I want to thank Jaxson Dart. This is going to be a future Hall of Famer in my book. Thank you. Thank you, Jaxson. Great. Right. A lot of talent. And a very special hello to a place that I really do.
A lot of talent. Oh, shit. There he is. Look at him. Oh, look at him, dude. You can see him. He's like, oh, strapping young lad. A ravishing quarterback. Jaxson Dart. All right. Last but not least, guys, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about this Rogan shit. Because look at this shit, okay? Now, there's a community note on this. Polymarket announced this today. They said new Joe Rogan is reportedly being considered as a possible 60-minute replacement for Anderson Cooper. Okay? Now, CBS said this is untrue, right? We're not buying this. CBS came out and said this is not true. But guys, here's what bothers me about this is there's a number of things that bother me about this. Number one, what bothers me is that we're being fed information like this on a daily basis from Polymarket and from 𝗙cie, these betting sites. And these betting sites are owned and were funded by right-wing people. So we consistently have monetizing prediction markets that can be gamed that are being used as legitimate information as though it's polling, and they're all being run by right-wing people, okay? Now, on top of this, if you go and look at somebody like Angela Bel Camino, I don't know if you know who this chick is, but she used to call herself a lib, and she is now converted to MAGA. She is now converting to MAGA. She was trying to get on, but look at what she does. She keeps quote tweeting Polymarket about, Tucker Carlson or about the Democrats, but they're paid partnerships. Polymarket are doing this all the time. Okay, here's another one where she says, can someone explain this to me in simple terms? Why would you vote to reelect someone who's already had years to fix your city since things have only gotten worse? What am I missing? And it's about Karen Bass. How are the Democrats voting for Karen Bass? But dude, this is a paid partnership. And Polymarket is doing this like every other day. They're paying people in politics to create controversial, like divisive stroking, whatever posts to elevate their shit when they are constantly creating political narratives that are almost always fueling some type of right-wing horse shit. Elf said, real story. I kissed my mom and dad and grandpa refused, and I understood when I was 5 years old. Your grandpa refused. Let's go. Dude, thank you, Elf. Appreciate you, boss. You understood. What did you understand? You're going to have to help explain that. But so anyway, okay, the fact that these betting markets are becoming mainstream legitimate sources of rumor and information or speculation that people can then bet on, but the people behind this shit are in the know and connected to this stuff. These things should be illegal or highly regulated. They're just gaming, and they're being used to manipulate politics and other shit. Now, the other thing about this is this could very well be true that CBS is looking into something like this. Did you see who they hired as for their news guy? Okay, they hired Bilton, this fucking Bilton guy, to run the news department. Nick Bilton. He is now the executive producer of 60 Minutes. But like, dude, this guy's a screenplay writer. Okay? This guy writes screenplays, and he is in charge, the executive producer of the 1 hour hard-hitting news program called 60 Minutes. They fired a guy who has worked in news for 50 years, and they've replaced him with a screenwriter, with a fiction writer, okay? And also somebody who looks like he's a pretty hardcore Zionist as well. I mean, dude, what are they fucking doing here, boss? Like, a guy with no news experience is getting handed, like, the news program. So, yeah, I do believe that they could pull somebody like Rogan, and they could take a show like 60 Minutes and take it away from journalism and turn it into, state-funded media. Like Bari Weiss, dude, she cannot be trusted. Okay, if you look at Bari Weiss and Olivia Reingold, do you know who this woman is? Oh my God, dude. From the Free Press, Olivia Reingold and Bari Weiss and Larry Ellison, they are like totally reshaping CBS news arm into a pro-Trump, pro-Netanyahu, like Zionist fucking paradise, okay? You know what I mean? And like, look at what she says. Look at what she says here. Watch this.
Peter Savodnik and I, we just got in an epic fight over Spencer Pratt. My gut, I'm kind of scared to say it, but I think Spencer is going to finish first in the primary. Peter's position is that Karen Bass, mostly because of name ID, is going to finish first in the primary. I don't see that happening. I know that Karen Bass is technically leading in the polls, but don't forget that the polls for a long time also showed Cuomo crushing Mamdani in New York City. The momentum for Spencer reminds me so much of what I saw covering the Mamdani campaign.
Dude, she's comparing Spencer Pratt to Mamdani while she's wearing a fucking bullshit, like, Iron Maiden fucking hand cut the collar out fucking t-shirt here. I mean, she is an extreme Zionist person, right? And she's trying to, like, make Spencer Pratt, like, dude, Mamdani is like a political movement that has been building for a decade, okay? And she is, like, equating some, like, swollen reality TV star bullshit artist to Mamdani while wearing this Iron Maiden t-shirt. Dude, she is such a crazy fraud, bro. And like, listen to this shit.
During the Mamdani campaign, where I heard all of those conventional talking points about Mamdani can never win, like, how is he going to get donors? Or we're spending this many hundreds of thousands of dollars on attack ads against him.
Dude, we all knew Mamdani was going to win. Are you shitting me? Everybody knew Mamdani was going to win, except the Andrew Cuomo grapist, Cuomo, who wouldn't say no.
My lesson from covering the Mamdani administration was I need to make more predictions. And when I feel something, I really need to say it, because I felt genuinely as early as March 2025 that Mamdani was going to be mayor. We were still months away from the primary at that point, and I really felt like he was going to be mayor. So the things that I've assessed of Pratt from afar, I feel like I'm just seeing a lot of signs of grassroots energy, that money.
Yeah, by the way, Pratt is a crazy Zionist. Can I show you an article that Olivia Reingold authored? Okay, look at this. This is crazy because they're all working for Larry Ellison. It's this one. Look at this. This was her fucking article in the Free Press, guys. Okay? It says, while my peers turned on Israel and the Jewish people, I became an unlikely inheritor of our ancient tradition. Olivia Reingold writes, I am an October 8th Jew. So she was like, October 7th, like, created her into this, like, newfangled Zionist that is now, like, inheriting the ancient tradition. Look at her with her big, stupid hipster glasses. Bro. And she's talking about Mamdani. Dude, she would fucking have Mamdani, like, carried out on a stretcher in, like, 2 seconds, bro. This is like Bari Weiss's, like, right-hand woman, dude. And she's out there saying Pratt is like Mamdani. Dude, there's no fucking way. Okay, I've got into it online with her too, because she is outrageously, like, snaky. She reminds me of Emily Austin. Okay? You remember Emily Austin? Dude, she is like an Emily Austin fucking wannabe, boss. Right? She totally reminds me of this woman, dude. Like, nah. Okay? No way, bro. So, yeah, dude, that shit is crazy. So as insane as it sounds, of, like, CBS having Rogan, and you think, oh yeah, this is trolling, something like this could happen, guys. Or what they do is they propose somebody like Rogan, and then they pick somebody not quite as outlandish, but with the same sort of conspiracy manosphere vibes. And then it seems palatable because, like, oh, well, at least it's not as crazy as the Rogan thing that was being floated, right? Dude, I actually believe this. I know CBS has denied it, but like, bro, the shit they've done with people like Olivia Reingold and these other people, this is a very real possibility that they're going to turn 60 Minutes into some manosphere like Trump, MAGA, like Zionist, Ellison, billionaires, pro-billionaire, like, you know, self-destructing woke bullshit. Okay, because let me tell you, on TikTok right now, also owned by Larry Ellison, TikTok is fucking bullshit right now, guys. I can't even post about Epstein anymore on TikTok without my shit getting community guidelines, and then even if I win the appeal, they don't show it to anybody. Okay, the censorship on TikTok, the Trump Israel censorship on TikTok is insane right now. I've never seen anything like it. It's unreal, guys. So yeah, man, this shit, I don't believe CBS's denial. Okay? I don't believe CBS's denial. I don't. Okay? I know CBS is denying it, and I don't know that Rogan would even do this, but I think the thing is I think they're looking for that same vibe, guys. Okay? They're looking for that same vibe where they're going to turn it into a Zionist, pro-Israel manosphere, like evangelical Christian Larry Ellison / Trump Miriam Adelson funded bullshit stuff. 100%, guys. And I mean, look at this, dude. Oh, shit. Fuentes is going on Joe Rogan. Yeah. Dude, my allergies are killing me. But all right. You know what time it is, baby? It's dance party time, boss. Dance party. Dude, look at this guy. Okay? Dude, this is funny. I want to finish on this because I don't know if you've seen Nate Silver, right? But so he's like a polling guy. And this guy, though, is pretty fucking toxic. But he says, keep in mind that if you're defending Platner at this point, you're signing up for 5 more months of defending an obvious pathological liar. But look at this take, dude. He said that he thinks Eric Adams would be in his top 5 for who will be the next Democratic nominee after Joe Biden. Dude, what are we talking about? Oh my God. Oh, Elf, now I see. Elf says, I knew my grandfather who flew over Berlin multiple times that firebombed the city was the worst stuff I'll never understand. So you're saying, Elf, that when you kissed your mom and dad, but you intrinsically knew that there was something about your grandfather that was bad vibes. And so you fucking were like, dude, I ain't kissing that guy. Dude, isn't it wild? Guys, this is crazy shit. And I'm telling you, though, guys, I am telling you that these are the type of people that are gunning for Platner. And this is why I am becoming more staunchly Platner by the day because these crazy fucking liberals that appear to be working for the right wingers, okay, the liberals that seem to like want us to be like having all these right-wing assholes that want us to lose elections, that make the most outlandish fucking wrong predictions, that are all incredible Zionists. These are the people that are like, ooh, you can't trust Platner. You can't trust Platner. And I'm just like, yo, dude, I'm starting to really like see this weird Zionism like overload, bro, where like everybody who's a Zionist is like, they would rather we have Republican Zionists than anti-Zionist Democrats, even if they're Democrats, guys. And yeah, people like Cenk and Anna, but like, you know, I think they're, yeah. I'm like, it's just becoming more obvious, guys. You know, it's becoming more obvious that and you know, I am not going to sink, okay? I am going to take the worst fucking Democrat over any Republican always, okay? I will take a Democrat that is covered head to toe in warts. And frankly, I want people that are speaking out about like this AIPAC bullshit, dude. I'm getting more adamant about that by the day. The way AIPAC has behaved after these primaries, gloating and shit, and saying, ooh, Israel is good policy. Like, bro, why is Israel a policy in American politics, dude? That shit is not, like, it used to never be like that, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a kid, they were like, oh, okay, they're an ally, but now they're like, they're openly acting like, you know, Israel, supporting Israel is like the most important fucking thing in American politics. Like, yo, right after we're watching Israel every day just bomb the shit out of people. And we're in a war right now because of Netanyahu. And nobody, he won't stop for anybody. He's invading Lebanon. Who's he going to invade next, dude? And like, and yet they're gloating in our primaries. Like, yo, dude, fuck that. Like, fuck that, bro. That is like, dude, the AIPAC people are like not, I am not okay with them now, dude. They're really getting shitty. Every primary, they just gloat, dude. And that's really, and especially when like you have like Ehud Barak and all these fucking people involved with Epstein and Trump taking $230 million, right? $200 million from Miriam Adelson, and then they're hiding all the Epstein shit. And like, you know, Netanyahu is like, oh, I did not kill Charlie Kirk. Why is Netanyahu talking about not killing Charlie Kirk? What the fuck is going on with that? Why is Netanyahu all of a sudden Erica Kirk's like fucking, you know, sugar daddy? Like, what the hell is going on? Dude, shit is getting weird out there, guys. And then you see people like that Ben Gvir guy walking around just being like heinous, like talking about human beings like they're fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy shit, dude. All right. Nah. All right, you ready? But now we dance. Dude, thank you to everybody. We're going to fucking dance, boss. My bald spot is fucking, look at that shit. It's going to dance, bro. Shit's getting bigger, dude. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Yeah, dude, the insider trading. Great show. Let's go, Nicole. Dude, the insider trading shit is some bullshit. All right, you ready? Let's get it. Get it, get it, get it. All right, here we go. Oh, dude, I am so tired, boss. I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm exhausted, but we are gonna cut loose. The little deja vu. Oh! 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 What is that? Let's go! But I want more! Holy shit, boss! I'm out of breath. I'm tired! Thank you for being here, guys. We are finding our way. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And keep it together. Hey! You could be late, you could be true. You could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong. And I'd be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure. 'Cause I want more. I will see you tomorrow. Take Take care, guys. Thank you for everything. I love you. And in the meantime, stay radiant. Good night.
Hey, I just want to change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't want to hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. It's about you. I will never be alone.